Golan-Globus, welcome in. It is...
Go!
See? It's infectious.
Golan-Globus. You should do that one time. Just have the gold guy.
I have done that.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the guy. The real gold guy.
Oh, gold.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, you can
sound of that.
seamlessly put in, like, he goes, go! And then you go, Golan-Globus.
Yeah, it's seamless. All my great audio bits are always seamless.
Hey, you were better than a High on Fire episode interview you listened to recently. So got that going for you. I hear so many like YouTube shows that have awful audio. People give Griff his flowers for his audio work because there's so many shitty. If you get 10 times the listens and views we get, and their audio and their content, frankly, is shit.
Yes. Murray has seen how much I frustrate over making sure the shit actually works properly.
Right. It's like watching Beethoven, like compose a fucking,
and
symphony.
when my hair gets frayed out like Beethoven's.
Like now?
I got some crazy hair right now. Murray, this is obviously a big episode. I'm sorry. I know you read the episode name. There's no Joel Coleman. Don't worry. He's here in spirit. We got his candle. What are these candles called?
They're called prayer candles. They're very limited, very hot.
Yes.
We were lucky enough to get one each.
That's
Say a little prayer for us.
That's right.
Joe Coleman.
There is.
I will put it. By the time you're listening to this, I will have already posted it on Twitter.
There is actually sweat mixed into the wax.
Yes.
So when you burn it, you do. So that's the next thing. Bathwater, gamer girl bathwater was the thing. Now it's Joe Coleman sweat candles.
If a woman breathes in the scent, she might grow a mustache. There's so much testosterone in these candles. A
vein popped for me when I was, because it gets your blood flowing.
But Griff, before we get into the festivities, I got a few, because we don't do this like every other show does. They're constantly pushing their shit, but sometimes you have to do this.
Okay.
We just passed 4,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel.
This is true.
And so if you're listening to this on YouTube, which if going by Griff's schedule, this is probably June when you're listening to this, I want to say, guys, and by the way, I think you're finally getting the fact that we're actually a review show and not an uploading movie show.
Right.
That's, first of all, it's illegal. We would get in trouble doing that.
Yes.
Not only, so now we have 4,000 subscribers. When you subscribe, don't be afraid to give us a like and a comment.
That's right.
Because that helps with the algorithm, people.
Right.
And if that's if you're just strictly like I only listen to shit on YouTube. If you're not, you can always keep up, but you don't have to worry about Griff uploading shit months later if you just listen to us on either our SoundCloud link or you just find any podcast app. Golan-Globus Theater. We're available there. Keep you up on it.
Yep.
And you want to know what movies we're doing? You follow us on the Twitter, the X, whatever you want to call it, at G&G Theater. By the way, we're also on Blue Sky, which is open to everyone now. So all the people that are complaining about Elon Musk on Twitter, but for some reason will not leave Twitter, but they'll bitch about it, you can now go to Blue Sky and without an invite, and you can follow us.
That's right. We're over there, and apparently we can't put up some of the great videos and gifs.
You're not right now. Blue Sky sucks.
Yeah.
I'll say it right now.
It's stripped down.
It's a very
90s text-based.
Yes, very GeoCities version of Twitter. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully we can get DMs. Hopefully we can get videos and GIFs. And now it's just pictures. All you can put up is pictures.
Pictures.
I think you put links too. Because
Probably
Aubrey sent me some links. I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of Twitter, I had put up recently a poll asking people if they would be interested in an Action Animation April.
Of course.
Resoundingly positive. 91% of the votes want animation. And I always tell Griff, the law of Twitter says if you go ape shit on Twitter, you will not show up when we do it's
going to be Blaxploitation Month 2.0.
And vice versa.
Cowards.
Vice versa, by the way, Griff. We just passed 100 listens for our Terminator 2. Crickets, by the way, on my tweets about Terminator 2. So it's weird how that works.
Such a weird...
But so we will be, even though you're probably not going to show up, we will be doing adult animation.
Yes, lots of hentai boobies. That's all this is.
Oh my God, Joe Corey sent me this laundry list of hentais. Like, you got to do this. You got to know this. You have to do.
The way this woman's boobs look. Yeah. Now, did you look into this at all? Are they Lolita situations? Is it tiny children with giant boobs? I hope not,
because I know nothing about anime.
It's a scary world apparently right now in the anime world.
Ask me about Voltron. I know a little of that, but that's as far as it goes in anime.
Yeah,
we might do an anime. I'm thinking maybe Ninja Scroll. I know our weapons master wants us to do Ninja Scroll. That's the one I was thinking about, because I know you kids, the people your age and younger, love their anime.
I mean,
so we
just lost 3 legends in the last few months.
I heard a Dragon Ball guy died.
Yep, the Dragon Ball guy died. The guy who did the art for Yu-Gi-Oh, and then the guy who did Berserk.
Wow.
Yeah. So
your brother Coach.
Yeah.
Hageman recommended Berserk, so I immediately just said nope. We're not doing it. Well, all right, got that out of the way. Now back to birthday celebration. This class. Not only is it our birthday episode, it's a milestone.
Yeah.
I can't believe a quarter of my life is over because I'm turning 50. By the time you're listening to this, I will have turned 50.
Yes.
A couple days earlier.
Yes.
But yeah, the big 5-0. Griff, you're what, 37?
I'm 37.
39, according to one of your nephews.
My youngest nephew thinks I'm 39. Yeah. He's also having a situation now. We've talked about some of his pooping situations. He is associated.
Wait, is this some Lolita shit?
Yes, this is Lolita shit.
I don't want to get in trouble.
He's associated diarrhea with dying. So he thinks if he has diarrhea, he's dying. So now he's deathly afraid to take a shit.
I hope as your good uncle, you're feeding into that fear, because that's exactly what my uncles would do if I was in that same situation.
Yeah.
They would not be like, no, don't worry about it. It's like, oh, yeah, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's growing up in the 70s.
Oh, man.
Which you would know if you're turning 50, which I am, sadly.
But, Murray, we do have a lot of people. I mean, we have all of our great fans who, you guys are cowards during the month of February. We know that. You've accepted
Or
this.
something worse, I'm not going to say.
Or something worse.
Yeah.
But you got us here. We wouldn't be doing 301 episodes if it weren't for people showing up.
Right.
101 downloads.
Well, we did it for a while.
Yeah, we did it for a while with a dozen people.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we can always be bigger, but hey.
Yes.
We got true fans. You guys show up day of. When it drops.
That's right.
You drop everything you're doing.
Not to mention the whispers. Because
I got a careful whispers.
I got a whisper just the other day, and I open it. This motherfucker asked me, that noise at 42:16 of the Terminator 2 episode, was that Joe Coleman's dick hitting the ground? People!
I don't remember hearing a thud.
I don't know what they're hearing either. I didn't go look it up. I just said,
we gave you the time. You could at least have.
I could have, but I don't want to fucking do it. I don't want to go look and listen to this. It's probably Millie jumping off the couch. And this person just wants to fantasize. So you know what? It's your fantasy. Yes. It was probably Joe's penis.
Was he 4 inches from the ground at the time that happened?
Yeah, well, it apparently hit the ground.
Yeah, because that would make sense.
He was sitting down, so he would be 4 inches, but the chair.
Well, I'm glad you brought it back to Joe, because you had an experience with Joe this past Sunday.
So I had to go see our boy wrestle. I have to go see him, because just watching him, I'm not a violent man, but I do love to watch Joe Coleman beat the shit out of people. According to you, half our audience probably wants to see that too.
Yeah, he's got his fan club among our fans.
And every once in a while in life, right place, right time situation works its way out. It's pretty pricey to get in. It's $25.
Yeah, it is. For a mud show, it's very pricey. No offense, Joe. But
yeah, no offense, Joe.
You deserve better, is all I'm saying.
So I show up there. I'm getting ready to pay. This fucking weirdo turns around. He's wearing like a long black coat. He's got his long rock star hair.
Were you scared he was gonna open fire like in the middle of it? Whenever I see a guy with a trench coat.
Yeah, he was pretty close to that. It was like a felt trench coat. It wasn't like a fucking latex If it was latex, I'd be like, yeah, this kid's definitely shooting this place up. Yeah. And he's got his mock wrestling belt. And so that immediately was like, he's not hurting anybody.
He's not getting laid or hurting anybody.
And so he's like second in line, and he just turns around and goes, anybody need a ticket?
Ticket? Need a ticket?
Need a ticket? And I said, I sure do. So I got in for free.
Wow, that's great.
It is great.
I would have been furious if I'd came with you and I had to pay.
Yeah.
I would demand that you pay half my ticket.
Oh, yeah, that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
I'd been like, hey, man, I'll pay half your ticket.
Because, yeah.
So it takes like usually half an hour after
Explain
doors.
to people, this is in a bar
Yeah,
in
just
Hamtramck, Michigan.
It's
The
a-
city within the city
The
of
city
Detroit.
within the city. I just heard some people who are not native to Detroit, understanding of Detroit, and they were trying to pronounce Hamtramck.
Well, there's a lot. Oh, there's
Good
a
luck.
lot of weird because
Yeah.
I think the French settled Detroit, so there's a
Yeah.
lot of. We specialize in Michigan is mispronouncing words. Like
Lasser.
and then there's cities like it's Lake Orion. It's Lake Orion, but we
Yeah.
we call it
Orion.
Lake Orion.
Yep.
There's Armada, which is Armada.
Armada.
There is Milan, which is Milan.
Yep.
Yes, we don't know how to speak in Michigan.
We have a lot of fun names like that.
Yeah.
It's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hamtramck is just a cluster of fucking not vowels. What are the other ones? Consonants.
Yeah. Well, is it a Polish word? 'Cause it was
Yes.
a Polish enclave.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
at one
very-
time, it's more Muslim now.
It is
but,
very
yeah.
Muslim now. Yeah.
So you can get a pierogi and shawarma now.
You absolutely can. And
Yeah.
it is one of the best experiences you'll ever have to have a pierogi and then some shawarma
Is it
afterwards.
full of hummus, the pierogi?
You can get a hummus pierogi, Murray, if you want
Sounds
to.
really gross.
It does
actually.
sound very
Yeah.
gross. It's probably pretty decent, but yeah. Anyways, this weirdo lets me, he gets me in.
This weirdo
Murray,
lets me have a
please.
ticket.
I'm trying to get through this.
Yeah.
Pretty,
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
I
'cause
was.
we're gonna go in depth on.
Oh yeah,
New
we're gonna have
York.
too much fun with this episode. You know it, guys. If you're new, whatever, the episode will probably pick up somewhere around the 25-minute mark.
Yeah.
That's where the movie coverage
Maybe,
happens.
yeah.
But for now, you have to hear about the weirdo. So he's probably in his mid-20s and everything. I offer to buy him a beer because he got me in. So that's the
that's
thing
nice
to
of
do.
you,
Yeah. And so he's like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. He's getting kind of weird and nervous and
Yeah, of course.
a little twitchy. And so he's walking up to the bar and he's like,
He
so-
probably recognized your voice.
maybe.
And I was like, oh my God, is that Griff? The Griff?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So he's walking up to the bar, and he's just like looking. There's like 6 beers listed. It's just a dive bar, everybody.
Yeah.
So, it's just whatever. He looks back at me and goes, can I get a beer? Yeah. Get whatever.
You said everything but Bud Light.
And I was just like, yeah, get a beer. Yeah. And so he's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm going to get this beer. It's the best beer. I wonder if you've ever had it. Oh, and bartender's right there waiting, and he's just like, can't remember the name of the beer. So the bartender starts looking at me like, what's wrong with your friend? And I was
He ain't my friend.
hey, my friend. And so finally he goes, Two Hearted. And I was like, I'll take one too. And then he turns to me and goes, this is the best beer. Have you ever had it? It's like, have you ever had it? You forgot the name of your favorite beer?
Have you ever had it?
Have you ever
This is
had it?
Gavin from Kids in the Hall now. Have you ever had it?
Is that how I said it?
Did you know that beer is made from hops and barley?
Oh my God. So Murray, I'm chit-chatting with him. Because,
I'm
whatever.
so glad I didn't come. Because I would have been dying.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So he's looking around and he's like, are there chairs here? It's like, no, it's a fucking...
Up on the stage? They have
Like-
the stage chairs?
Yeah, I said there's...
That's VIP seating. by the
yeah,
way.
that is VIP seating.
Yeah.
I was like, well, if you got a VIP seat, there are chairs on the stage. Otherwise, yeah, it's standing room only. He's like, what the hell? I was like, what do you expect? Look at this bar.
He wanted to throw a chair at a wrestler.
He definitely did. Well, one of the questions he asked me, so it could be a death match?
Well,
like-
yeah, I expect it. If you're at a mud show, you expect a death match.
Right.
We've seen have we seen tacks? We've seen somebody get thrown through tacks, right?
We saw tacks. We've seen tables. We've seen bar shit. I think we saw a fake sugar bottle.
We saw a man beat a woman, and then a woman beat a man.
Yes, I saw that same man beat that same. No, it was it was that Machine Gun Kelly guy or whatever. Not Machine Gun Kelly. Motor City Machine Gun guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was there.
I don't know his name, but yeah.
Yeah, he was there.
Did anyone ask to suck his dick? That's the one we're talking about, by the way.
That is
if you go back.
yes.
Brothers, yeah.
I don't remember where we did that, but way back in the folds of our podcast history,
Yeah.
it's in there. All right. So, what else do we got in here? He went to the lucha show. He's like, I don't like those luchas. They cover their face, so I booed every lucha. It's like, you went to a lucha show and booed the luchas.
So he booed everybody?
So he booed everybody, apparently. Then he pulls out a vape pen and hits it. He's like, hey, man, do you want some? And I was like, oh, no, I'm good. And he's like, I'm high 24/7.
Okay.
And he starts telling me, I'm from South Lyon. And I was like, oh, okay. Things are really making sense now. Because, like I said, he's like mid-20s. You know, whatever. Anyways. And then
what did he look like? I mean, he had the trench.
Baby face.
Okay.
Long black hair.
Any facial hair?
Trench. No.
Okay.
He cannot grow facial. That's how I knew he's like, like mid-20s younger.
Is his last name Crumbly?
No, I think his first name was Noah.
Okay.
And so when he asked me my name, I, of course, tell him Griffin. I didn't use my usual fake name. And he goes, oh, no shit. That's my best friend's name. I was like, okay.
Translation, you're my new best friend.
I didn't catch on to that. Shit, what else do we got here? He starts telling me about the weed prices. Oh, I go to this one because the prices are... I was like, okay, amazing. And then he's like, oh, you like wrestling? Well, how do you feel about UFC? And I was like, dude, I'm not good at violence, so I can barely watch...
fake fight.
Yes, I like fake fight. I was like, I can barely watch football and get through that. That tackling is enough for me. And he's like, well... you need to watch UFC. He was so confused, so broken that I would be at a wrestling show, but I don't like UFC.
It is kind of confusing.
Yeah. And then he goes on to be like, it's the combination of every fighting style in the world. And you've told me, no, it's no longer that
boxing,
way.
Amateur wrestling, and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
What it is now.
You said it's all homogenized. It's just been worked down analytically.
No more. It's not like Enter the Dragon anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've told you, he's got this giant replica belt. Wrestling belt, and
what was it? Was it
I didn't
WWE?
notice,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to notice because I didn't want to hear anything. I was ignoring it. I was having enough fun just talking, finding out about this weirdo, to start getting in on the belt. But then he's doing the thing where he adjusts it, like when managers are doing promos and the guys have to do something. Yeah, so he's fidgeting with it. He goes, "Yeah, one time I was at a bar and a girl he's at a wrestling show, is what he's telling me." And a girl complimented it, and I said, well, if you come wrestle me, you can find out about it.
Wow, that was smooth.
And I was just like...
I'm writing it down right now.
I literally said to him, you used that on a person? Did it work? And he's like, no.
It did not.
So he was at least honest about it. Oh, and then Murray, somehow the conversation steered into Joe Biden has no chance of winning the presidency.
I had a feeling it would go there. And
I was just like, where's this coming from? Well, he's got such a low unapproval rating. And I was like, okay. So he's got no chance of winning because of that?
No chance! That's
no
what
chance
you got.
in hell! And so I was like, I mean, I hope you just use that as an incentive to go vote, because usually that's the problem is people don't
from South Lyon,
vote.
I think I know who he's voting for.
And so he's like, look, I'm just saying from a historical standpoint. And I was like, okay, I get you, but I'm just saying, just go vote. He's like, yeah. So I saw that Trump show. I was like, excuse me? What was it? He came to Waterford. Yeah. Came to Waterford, like in that
lovely Waterford, Michigan, the sister city of my my hometown, Pontiac. We border each other.
So
Watertucky is what they call it.
Watertucky.
That'll let you know what's going on. Waterford.
His brag. I waited 15 hours.
Oh my God.
To be at the front row. I went and looked because I was like,
Did you just say, like, I need to use the bathroom right now and just disappear?
Well, Murray, you know what I asked him. Yeah. Why?
Yeah. Because if you know me and Griff, we wait for nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm not waiting in line for... People go, oh my God, this is the best food ever. 3-hour wait. I can live the rest of my life never experiencing
Exactly.
that.
I'm good.
Yeah.
If I happen to be walking by and they're taking one person, I'll pop in there and have a fight. Exactly. But no, I'd wait for nobody. Why? Well, I'm a historical buff. Why do you have to be at the Trump show if you're a historical buff?
He's witnessing history.
That's what he told me. I'm witnessing history. And I said, what history? He didn't really have anything. So, again, he continues to claim Joe Biden has no chance, and I was just like, well, I needed to make this conversation not obnoxious, so I said, did you get the Trump Terminator bobblehead? Because me and Murray had been talking about it.
Yeah, the Trumpinator is what it's called.
Yeah, he said, I saw one, but I did not buy it. Murray, that was my time. The second the curtains... Because the wrestling ring is behind curtains. They open the curtains, and I saw him walk towards it and keep looking back at me.
Remember when someone vomited at the last show we were at?
Yes. Because we walked in, we're like, it smells weird in here.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So I use my evasive maneuvers to, like, slither into the crowd and make myself disappear. And he
like a snake, almost.
You know our fat guy that's at the show and loves to make it about him?
Yeah.
He was there. He was quiet.
Oh, wow.
This guy, Noah, shouting the whole time, come and get it, buddy! That's illegal! Oh, my God. I'm so
So what Chris is trying to say is expect Noah on a future episode of Golan-Globus Theater.
Well, he's my new best friend.
We will be doing a wrestling movie, I'm guessing.
That's right. But, hey. We got a few minutes here before we hit the 94-minute mark on our opener.
I got a lot to talk about on Escape from New York.
Yeah.
So let's get back to that.
Let's get back to that. Where do you want to start?
Escape from New York. All right. Like I said, I alluded to earlier. This is my 50th birthday, so we're doing an important. I said I got to do something important to me. This is one of my favorite movies. This is, even though I will admit that The Thing technically is a better movie than Escape from New York, this is my favorite John Carpenter movie.
Okay.
Because of this character, Snake Plissken.
He's just so good.
Now, as we were alluding to earlier, we're from Detroit. By the way, whenever a white person tells you they're from Detroit, they mean I'm from the Detroit area.
Suburbs.
Because there's hardly any white people in the city of Detroit. But I'm from Pontiac, Michigan, as I've told you people. It's kind of it's a smaller, slightly less dangerous version of Detroit. High crime, low income. So, growing up, I saw and experienced a lot of violence in my life, a lot of fights. That's why I'm always amazed when I meet people like Griff who've never been into a fist fight before.
Yeah.
Your brother doesn't count.
No, I back in like grade school, but I've had punches thrown at me.
So I've seen a lot of fucked up shit. I've damn near got killed one time. I've been robbed. I've had fucking total strangers attack me and a fight for my life. And this, by the way, most of this was as a child. On top of it, because as I got older, I learned how to intimidate people so they don't fuck with me. Just because I was telling Griff a couple weeks ago, some guy threatened my life because I dared walk down the street he lived on.
Yes.
So that's my life. So at a very early age, I gave up on mankind. I became cynical. I became misanthropic. I think human beings are garbage. So, obviously, as a child, like, Snake Plissken resonated with me as a character. Like, I was never into Luke Skywalker. He was just a bitch to me.
White meat baby face.
Yeah. So that's why I always gravitated burnt-out loner character, which is why Mad Max is my favorite character of all time.
Yes.
Snake Plissken, close second.
Oh, yeah, 1A, 1B.
Because it resonates with me. Because I don't believe in the triumph of the human spirit. I've given up. Like I've said, I'm cynical. I've given up on mankind.
If you can't even walk around your own block, if you can't even take that hostility out of your own fucking, like...
No escape. I mean, I don't want to paint this picture. I mean, I've been dodging bullets my whole life. I've knock wood, I've never had a gun pulled on me. I'm glad you knocked quietly. I've had knives pulled on me a couple of times, but I've never had a gun pulled on me. So, I mean, these are just instances in my life. Most of my life is very similar to what most of your guys' lives are, too. But I've had some scary shit happen to me, and it affects you, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's why, I gravitated to... That's the trope I like. Burnt-out loner who doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
Anti-hero, if you will.
It makes perfect sense how that happens and how I end up gravitating towards Jean-Claude. I had an easy life, so I was just like, I'm going to use Kung Fu to defeat all the foes that don't actually exist.
Right.
Because I was learning Kung Fu from movies to take to school. And actually have fights, Murray. I've been in fights. Not one since like the 8th grade, but I've been in fights.
Okay. Well, it's been a while for me too.
Yeah,
but yeah, because I know when I can see like when one thing there's any good thing about growing up the way I do. You know how to read people.
Yeah,
and you go, that guy's trouble. That guy's just running his mouth, whatever. And so you just go, I'm gonna go out of the situation. I'm not gonna go toward the situation.
Yes.
I'm gonna go away from the situation.
Oh yeah.
So I love the character Snake Plissken. Kurt Russell's fucking amazing in it. This was the role that made him a star because before this, he was just known as that Disney kid. He was in Disney movies.
No shit. Okay.
In fact, here's to show you how old I am. I remember watching his movie, The Computer That Wore Tennis Shoes.
Okay.
In elementary school on a projector.
Amazing.
Like, they didn't even have VCRs. It was
right.
on a fucking projector. 'Cause this has probably been like 80, 81 or something. So, yeah, because John Carpenter worked with him on a TV movie about Elvis. He played Elvis.
Yes.
And so they wanted, believe it or not, they wanted Charles Bronson at the role of Snake Plissken, which as much as I love fucking Bronson, it would have been horrible.
It would have been very different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. This movie is what it is because of Kurt Russell.
And so since they worked together, Carpenter fought for. He's like, no, I think Kurt can do this role, and he did. He knocked it out of the park, and he became a star thanks to this role. So this movie was low budget movie, $6 million. Looks fucking great.
Looks amazing.
Art direction is great. They build a world. This was filmed in St. Louis because at the time there was a big fire in downtown St. Louis. That's why they have all these dilapidated looking buildings and shit. And it's a good surrogate for New York City.
All we have is like ghost towns and shit happening all over the country.
Yeah, by the way, you could have filmed it in Detroit because we got plenty of ghosts.
Dude.
Especially at this time, Detroit was a ghost
We
town.
just had a giant factory that we had.
The Packard building?
Yeah, the Packard building that we tore. Like, that used to be the grounds for creating movie sets. Like, real fucking sets for people to sit and work on. Instead, everybody's going to the brain screen and making these phony fucking movies. You could do cool shit.
Well, we Greg and Griff talk about this all the time. Like, in the age of CGI, your imagination, the sky's the limits. And yet everything now is so bland. There's nothing visually appealing about anything being made
right,
now.
And nobody. And this gets us to one of the points I want to talk about because we both watched this interview recently. You shared it with me, of course.
Yeah.
But everything is the safe bet now. Oh my God, that movie did okay. 9 sequels because we might be able to catch fire with it. Yeah. Kurt Russell came out and said, Snake Plissken, that's it. Snake is over here. I have moved on.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I don't need to reprise my role.
Much like they only made 2 Terminator movies, it's great they only made this one, Snake Plissken movie, and they never did one again.
Yes,
but if they did, if they did make a sequel, they didn't. But if they did, we did an episode where we imagined what it would be like, which you can look up. We called it Escape from L.A. We did the episode. Look that up.
Now, I did want to go out there and see some of the hot takes that are out there. Because obviously, this is a gem of a fucking movie.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah. And then you got to find the people out there who just have asinine things to say. Actually, you sent me this one from Twitter.
This infuriated me.
Russell based Snake Plissken on a combination, everybody, of Bruce Lee. I saw some of those kicks. They were great. He does have like one kick that was impressive, but it's shot from Snake's chest up.
It was a sweet stand kick. Snake.
Darth Vader?
No, that's nonsense.
Clint Eastwood.
He did. He admitted.
Yes.
And the reason why was because Lee Van Cleef is in the movie.
I was going to say, this is very Western, like, at its core, with a sci-fi wrapped around it, I think.
Yeah, he's the lone gunman that comes into town.
Yeah.
So they were like, because they were talking about creating the character, because Kurt Russell came up with the idea for the patch, which is iconic now.
Oh, yeah.
And except another thing about it, like, this is because they've been talking about for 25, 30 years about the reboot. And like at one time, when he was hot, Gerard Butler, after 300, he was going to be Snake.
Mm-hmm.
Then the last person I heard was the guy from
I think I just heard a thud when you said 300 there.
Sons of Anarchy guy. I don't even know his name.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I think if they do one now, they're probably going to want to use Russell's son, who started acting. I don't think that would be good, but I could see them trying that.
I like John Carpenter's approach, where you have people like us who love and endear these, and we don't want to see. Like, I don't give a shit about seeing another sequel.
First of all, we have a classic movie. Why do we need a reboot?
Right.
And I don't want them to do it much because I think we talked about this in the Warriors episode. Because they've been talking about doing a Warriors remake. All that makes Escape from New York unique would be taken out of the movie. They as silly as people might think Snake looks with his fucking skin tight winter camo pants and the muscle shirt and the fucking boots with the metal shin guards on them. It's iconic.
It is.
That's what makes Snake Plissken Snake. If they did it now, he'd be in fatigues.
Yep.
It would be boring.
It would be boring.
The only thing they probably would have would be the eye patch, and that's the only thing that would connect you to Snake Plissken.
Yeah. There's no attitude
No
anymore.
rock star hair, which, by the way, I've heard people say this, mullet, no. Snake Plissken has rock star hair. He has sweet, feathered hair. It's not a mullet.
Now, Murray, we didn't get to the last name that he was combined to. And it's vomit.
Sorry, I tried to.
It's vomit on our tongue. It is needles in our ear.
You caught me. I was trying to just hope you forgot about it.
I know, but the people want to hear it. Yeah. The last person that, of course, Kurt Russell based this character around.
Huge fan of this guy. I'm sure Kurt Russell was.
Exterminators Robert Ginty.
So the question is, which one of you motherfuckers put that on IMDb?
Someone did that just
to
fuck
one of you,
us.
Corey, did you do it? You motherfucker. No way. No way in hell.
There's so much.
TNT would inspire anything but, like you said, vomit.
There's so much more we could talk about. We haven't had a solo episode in so long. So there's so much opening piece.
I got a lot. Like I said, this is one of my. It's not going to go 3 hours. I hope it's not. No. But this is one of my favorite movies, so I'm going to get into it. It's my birthday, and I'll ramble if I want to.
Yeah, you could ramble if you want to. Now, we did see Breen's new movie. We'll just say real quick, he's got his own I'll Be Back, and it's Who Am I? What Am I? More thoughts on that movie in the future.
Yeah, not positive. I'm sorry.
We needed.
I don't know. We still needed to digest. It's only been a week.
This is the first time we watched a fresh dose of Breen. We got it fresh off the assembly line. I never put the video up yet. I'll do that eventually, sometime in the near distant future. It's on my current
distant future of 1997.
Yeah, 1990X, Murray. That way, who knows?
The Japanese know how to do the future.
That's right.
Because this movie is set in the far off distant future of 1997.
That's right.
It's accurate. There's the World Trade Center still there.
Yeah.
So it is accurate.
That is accurate.
But all right, I got a lot. I listened to the director's commentary with Kurt Russell and John Carpenter, so I have some stuff to add. I also have read the novelization of this movie, which they have some things that I'm going to pepper in, a little world developing that they did not make the movie. That after this trailer, I'm going to tell you, not directly after it, but I will tell you how Snake Plissken lost his eye.
Ooh,
because that's in the novelization, so that'll give you more than enough to stick around. So, all right, everybody. As of today, we're recording this on Saturday. It's daylight savings time, so you're going to be taking a trip in the future 1 hour. And don't look at it as losing an hour of sleep. Look at it as being 1 hour closer to this amazing episode that's on the other side of this trailer for Escape from New York.
It's not the future we wanted, but the future that happened. Once a great city, now a high-security prison, designed to keep society's criminals in. But now, everything rides on getting one person out.
The survival of the human race, Plissken. Something you don't give a shit about.
Kurt Russell stars as Snake Plissken in John Carpenter's science fiction action classic, Escape from New York.
You go in, find the president, bring him out in 24 hours, and you're a free man.
What if I'm a little late?
And no more Snake Plissken.
When I get back, I'm gonna kill you.
With an all-star cast that includes Lee Van Cleef, Harry Dean Stanton, Isaac Hayes, Ernest Borgnine, Donald Pleasance, and Adrienne Barbeau. Escape from New York is one of the best escape and escapist movies, according to the New York Times, and a trip worth taking, according to Time magazine. And now, Escape from New York is available in a special director's edition from New Line Home Video. Featuring an exclusive interview with John Carpenter.
It's both our fears and what we would like to have happen. I think we'd all like to have a guy like Snake on our side. And perhaps we'd like to have a police state. But it's the thing we fear the most, too.
Including never-before-seen footage with the original theatrical trailer and the original feature digitally remastered. New Line Home Video is proud to release the director's special edition of Escape from New York, starring Kurt Russell in both widescreen and full-screen versions. Escape from New York, available now for only $19.95 from New Line Home Video.
The once great city of New York becomes the one maximum security prison for the entire country. A 50-foot containment wall is erected along the New Jersey shoreline, across the Harlem River, and down along the Brooklyn shoreline. It completely surrounds Manhattan Island. All bridges and waterways are mined. The United States police force, like an army, is encamped around the island. There are no guards inside the prison, only prisoners and the worlds they have made. The rules are simple. Once you go in, you don't come out.
All right, so we had that nice voiceover.
Told you everything we needed to know. Actually, Carpenter added this after filming the movie because, rightfully so, he's like, the audience doesn't know what's going on. You know, we go right into the movie originally. So you need a little world. We get, and by the way, Carpenter does a great job. There's a lot. We get our exposition in the beginning, and as soon as Snake enters New York, it just fucking moves. Because you need that pace because his life is literally on the line.
Yes.
So you need to keep moving. Like he keeps moving.
It is a 24-hour movie, or is it a 22-hour movie, or is it a 23-hour movie?
Yes, we'll get into that. Yeah, because I never really thought about it, and because when we do the notes, we are just laser focused, and that's because we have to pick up these things you people don't see.
Shit, the amount of the page and a half we did on the Duke's car alone, interior, exterior. The hose in the back, the hose in the front.
Hose everywhere.
Hose everywhere.
But all right, so yeah, it's, of course, we're coming off the 70s where New York literally was a hellhole. And it's funny because you think about, like, the premise is how absurd it is that New York City, Manhattan particularly, the island of Manhattan, which is prime real estate in New York, and that's where all the rich people in New York live, on Manhattan, and that's where, like, the stock exchange and all that shit's there.
Yeah.
So it's absurd. But then I'm thinking, like, at the end of the year when Trump becomes president again and announces he's emperor,
we'll all be witnessing history.
This is totally something he would do because he's such a low. Such a small dick energy bitch that because everybody in New York hates Donald Trump.
Yes.
Laughs at him.
Yes.
I could totally see him making Manhattan into a prison and sending all the illegals to there to build the wall around Manhattan.
I mean, look at what the right wing does today.
Life will imitate art.
Yeah. Because all the southern states with crime rates higher than New York.
Yeah. You mean all our welfare states?
All of our welfare states.
Yeah, the ones that hate welfare but yet live off it?
Oh my God. I am so sorry. I need to do this real quick. Did you see the rebuttal to the State of the Union?
Yeah, I didn't see it. I heard about it.
That woman was terrifying because it was
terrible and terrifying.
Yeah, it was a Stepford wife situation.
That's what they think. Women should be.
Yeah, traditional wife. Although she's got a job, so she's no longer a trad wife.
Yeah, probably not for long.
I want to tell you what they named their kids, though.
I heard. Yeah,
husband was an ex-football player, so you know that shit scrambled.
Yeah,
and so they trust the woman, I guess, or maybe he named them.
I always say, don't let a woman name your boy children because you'll get these names.
Oh, okay, so you do know the names.
Yeah.
Daughter, Bennett. What do we know about the name Bennett?
It's a very strong gay name.
It is a very strong gay name. Go figure, some people in Alabama would name their child Bennett. That girl, gay
Please
as fuck.
tell me, the son in the Matrix?
Yes.
That would be amazing. I'd go make her president.
I don't even know what to do with this son's name. Ridgway.
What is up with people? I'm sorry. This is going to be a long episode. I thought we were going to get under. We've been doing so many 3-hour episodes because we had guests.
Yep.
I was like, we're going to get it under. I have so much to say about Escape from New York, but we have to talk about this.
We actually are on the leash sometimes with our guests because we try to keep it under 3, and we did it every week.
What is the new thing where people give their kids first names? Their first names are last names.
Yeah.
Like, that's a last name. Ridgway, you said?
Well,
what was that again?
I'm guilty of that because Griffin's more popular last name.
Yeah, it is, but it's also a mythical character.
Yeah.
A creature, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. You, of course, were named after the character Peter Griffin.
Yes.
Family Guy.
Yes. My mom is a time traveler.
Yes.
But it's Ridgway. Fucking awful name.
Sounds like a street.
It sounds like a street. So I don't even know what kind of outcome that kid's going to have. But he is living in Alabama under a Christian home, so he's going to probably be some kind of Chippendale dancer.
Just go back to traditional names, people, and spell them traditionally.
I know. Like, you can watch, any sport and be like, oh, man, that guy's got a silly... White people, we also have the dumbest names. Our Aiden obsession, where everything has the den suffix to it.
What happens in white trash culture is, and also stripper culture is, they take names that to them sound like rich people names. Like they'll take like Alexis
and street it.
Blake, because these are dynasty character names, by the way, which is a show in the 80s about rich people. So that's what they aspire to. They want to be rich, not by working hard, by winning the lottery.
Of course.
They want to be rich. That's why they always vote Republican. Because maybe it'll happen.
It might happen, and I need to get those tax breaks.
So these quote unquote rich people names are trash names, like Alexis. When I hear the name Alexis, I don't think rich. I think stripper in Iowa City.
Mm-hmm.
That's a classic white trash thing.
Classically off script, back on script. Murray,
we're in New York City.
Thank you.
We learn the crime rate 400%.
400%.
Much like the world we're living in now. Thanks, Biden. Biden's world.
These are literally numbers that the Conservative Party is throwing at us about New York today.
1997. Now. We're in the future of 1997, people.
I hear the Limp Bizkit bouncing off the empty, dilapidated walls.
We get Griff put PC graphics, but no. This is animation. We didn't have PCs in 1980 when this movie is being made. So this is animation. And there's also, when we get into later, I have an interesting little fun fact about
I meant just
graphics.
They were graphics on the computer.
Yes,
they were animations.
Because they were being futuristic.
Yeah.
We get the fucking classic John Carpenter tune.
God damn. To come from dun-dun-dun-dun-dun to a John Carpenter original. And it's just like his script. It's just like it has room to breathe, and yet it still kind of eases you in, tenses you up, and relaxes you. He's a fucking genius, and he does it with one hand in his pocket, Alanis Morissette.
So the people running, the warden, the guards, they are on Liberty Island, where the Statue of Liberty is. It's Liberty Island Special
State
Patrol
Prison. The patrol. Yeah.
And
security.
they make security patrol. They make sure no one escapes from New York because like I said, there's a wall around Manhattan, and all the bridges are mined.
Yeah.
and they're all constantly being patrolled because people are obviously trying to escape.
Yes,
because it's literally just. I wonder because they never really go into it. They must have given people X amount of time to evacuate New York because it's like, how did it become a prison?
What? Yeah.
I mean, obviously, rich people lived there at one time,
right?
So they must have said you have like a year to evacuate and then returning it into a prison. Because there's not a lot of luxuries all the cars are junkers. There's no futuristic cars. They're all junkers.
Which is good sci-fi, by the way.
Right. Because these people are basically working with what they have.
Yeah.
Even though money wouldn't be worth anything on there because
it's separated. It
would be a barter economy.
It's literally a prison economy. So you're trading.
So there's a lot of ass being bought and sold.
Yeah, because no one's bringing ramen noodles in.
Right. So
I know Trump hasn't seen this movie because he would be pitching this idea.
Oh, his favorite movie is Bloodsport. That's true. I'm not making that up. He said that. Yeah.
But I know he hasn't seen this. Period.
So it can't be all bad. But so the warden is Hoke. Bob Hoke, I think was his name.
Okay.
Played by Lee Van Cleef.
Play on Bob Hope, I get it.
I didn't know that. I thought it just Hawk. It sounds badass, but Hoke.
Yeah, I thought it was a play on Hawk.
In the novel, the reason why he is the warden is because his son is a drug addict and was sent to the prison.
Oh.
And so when he meets Snake, he also says he has this tattoo. If you see him, will you let me know that he's alive and he's okay? Because that's his motive for being the warden. He wants to get his son back.
Okay, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like that it's omitted, and I think it would have been fine if it were in there.
Yeah. So we get a thing. Tom Atkins. Another great favorite of ours. First movie we've seen where he's not getting pussy 20 years younger than him.
Dude, I'm so used to seeing that guy just, like, you barely can recognize him because he's got a pair of legs wrapped around his face.
Right.
That's how he does it. He is...
A lot of mustache rides happening in
Tom
Atkins' world.
He is known across the fucking globe as the greatest pussy eater of all time.
We get a great shot because none of this... Only scene that was filmed in New York is the scene where we see the Statue of Liberty. They're actually on Liberty Island. And then it pans down, and then we move across. And we see Tom Atkins. Remy was his character's name.
Yes.
He's going into a little booth. He gets a phone call. And as we pan across, it gets dark for a minute. And then we're in California. But it's seamless. We think we're still on this fucking... And we see, like, all these choppers and all this shit.
Right. I think Mark Swetland learned that move when he zoomed in on the fire and zoomed out on the fire. Yeah.
And so he goes into Hawk, Remy, and he's like, look, we've heard there's a low-flying plane. We don't know anything about it. But there's something important about it.
Right. Daniel 15 or something.
Daniel 14, I believe.
Daniel 14, we keep hearing thrown out. We get a glimpse, like you said, the prison trying to keep people from escaping. We have, like, the little dinghy trying to escape.
These guys, like, made a raft.
Yeah. We'll give you to the count of 3 to get all the way back. 1, 2, 3, and then they just shoot him down.
One problem I do have with this movie. I do not like the Foley work. I hate the way the guns sound.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah.
Look.
It literally sounds like...
As we said, I don't think we said this. Joe Coleman was a strong maybe for this episode. He has never seen this movie.
Which disgusted me. I was like, dude, I thought I knew you, man.
And I texted him.
I actually threatened to fight him. Even though Joe would beat the shit out of me, I was like, I'm willing to fight you.
I sent along
if you don't like this movie.
I sent him along the formal invite, and because he's like, I don't want to invite myself. So I said, I'm going to invite you tomorrow just to make sure you feel like truly welcomed. And I sent him the invite, and I said, look, Murray is going to beat your ass. He is willing to go down to the death
right. Yeah.
if you don't like this movie. And he said, you know what, Griff? I got to go to Ohio.
Sorry. I don't want to intimidate him. I'm very passionate about this movie.
Yeah.
But hey, it would be 4 hours if Joe was here, so it's kind of good that he didn't.
We would have had so many questions. Anyways,
as they're panning, we see a bus roll up, and that's where we see our hero, Snake Plissken, leather jacket, muscle shirt, winter camo. You know, we talked about, Griff, when you saw, what was that movie? Hard Target. You got a hoop earring. I will admit, I had to get fucking winter camo pants.
Yes, you did.
I got winter camo. They weren't skin tight because I would look disgusting in skin tight winter camo. But I did.
And of course, you would not free ball it. Probably you'd have your drawers sticking out of them and shit.
Yeah.
You would have looked like garbage.
So yeah. So well,
I love you. You look great for 50.
Yeah, I did look like garbage. I will admit. That. But so yes, we all have our role models in life. So that was mine with Snake Plissken. So yeah, he rolls up. And he's being taken into a building.
And again, just that fucking main tune. And it's just, it's a slow build. And they're just building the world here. But it's still so tense
it's a
and
fascist,
exciting.
We're living in a fascist state right now. It's like, everything, like every criminal is now taken to New York. That is our one prison now, is Manhattan.
Right.
So, okay, so now Hulk meets up with Remy, and they're like in a radar room.
Yep.
And they're like,
Daniel 14.
It's Air Force One. This is the president's fucking plane. Holy shit. And they're headed for and they've been taken over. They've been hijacked by basically Antifa, basically.
We get the view of the cockpit. There's a woman on there screaming about something.
She's from the National Liberation Front of America.
Right.
Antifa, basically.
Antifa, yeah.
And she's like, we represent the people of America. We will not stand for this. And she's like, it's not even, they don't want demands. They're going to kill the president.
Yeah. We're sick of this honky.
Right. We're going to slam it right into that prison that you motherfuckers built.
Right. They probably got friends in there. They're Antifa after all. They probably were wrongly imprisoned, which we'll talk more about.
We see Snake being brought into this room. He's walking down this hallway. We get a little more world building. We actually hear like a woman speaking. There's mixed sayings of who this is. Some people say it's Jamie Lee Curtis's voice because she was in The Fog the previous year. And then some people, IMDb says it's Deborah Hill, who is the producer of the movie. I don't know which.
Okay.
I would say Deborah Hill, but I don't know. So the voiceover says you're given an option. You can be executed immediately and cremated, or if you don't want to go to New York. So you are given a choice.
Okay.
So they are kind of compassionate.
All right.
Compassionate conservative.
Now, we do get a glimpse of who our president is on that plane, and it just happens to be my favorite. Any port in a storm, the best Columbo episode. Go check it out, everybody. Donald motherfucking Pleasance, who refused to put on an English, like a normal, not English, American accent.
I don't know what it is about the old school. They're all great. They all fucking bring their A game, but they can't do it. They don't even try to do an American accent.
I loved it for him, though, as a president in the fucking fascist world, for him to just be like, I have this hoity-toity voice. I think it works even better.
He came up with because he was like, obviously he worked on Halloween with John Carpenter. So go back. And he was just like, look, it's too tough. I can't do an American. You know me. I'm a British man. I cannot do an American accent. But listen to this backstory I came up with.
He didn't phone it in. He spent fucking weeks working on a whole backstory for beautiful character building.
Because at the time, not only did we have the horror that is Ronald Reagan, England, you had the horror that's Margaret Thatcher. So he's like, I got this idea. Margaret Thatcher has become so powerful. She reclaimed America, and now you guys are back to being a colony of England.
Yes.
And that will explain why I have, and like Carpenter's like, and thinking in his head, this is a B movie. Who gives a shit? You go with that. Go with that, Donald.
Just do it.
Donnie P. I love it. Nearly forgot about it. Went back to doing the movie.
And I want to say, I feel like this is one of the pros of the film age. You don't really get to review a lot of shit. You don't get to do second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th cut, whereas you do on digital. So I think you get a lot of shit in here that they're just, we got to go. We got to film this.
Low budgets mean high imagination.
Yes.
You're thinking, like, how do I figure this out? And a lot of times you come up with better shit on the fly.
Things that are unique because they weren't like, oh, shit, that's wrong. No, that's what we caught, and everybody can put whatever they need into it. So Donald Pleasance here speaking. I didn't even think about that. I was just said Donald Pleasance is the president.
By the way, speaking of presidents, the guard that's trying to break into the cockpit, Gerald Ford's son.
No shit.
Yeah, it's weird.
He looked like a Ford.
But he had hair. It was weird.
Yeah, I know. It was.
By the way, Michigan's only president, Gerald Ford. I have been by, didn't care enough to go into the Gerald Ford Museum in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah.
Just because I have family in Grand Rapids. We drove by it. I had no interest. But anyway, so here's where the MacGuffin comes into play about this movie. There's a briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
And we see him put a handcuff shackle on his hand, the president. This is so important.
Yep.
The future of the world is in this briefcase. And so he's like, all right, get me to my Mork from Ork pod. So they actually have a fucking egg-shaped pod. Even John Carpenter's like, now I'm thinking about it's really ridiculous what this is. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like, get me, because it's important. We must save the president's life. At this moment, we're thinking it's the president. It's not the president. It's that MacGuffin that's in that briefcase.
Right.
So they put him in there, and he's like, may God bless this country. Boom, he gets shot out of the plane. And then
he's got a nice little additional little wrist locator.
Yeah, there's a little locator that they put on his wrist.
Locator.
And so we cut back to
Hawk, and he's sending out the list crew. He's actually leading the list crew into New York, helicopter-wise. Right. And he's landing down. He's on a street. And he's just waiting to meet somebody because they know about the president.
Well, they go to the crash site. So they're like looking.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The crash site, yeah.
Because we see, because remember, it's a low-budget movie, so we can't show a plane crash.
No.
So we just get a nice little animated thing of it hitting the building.
I don't need 5 minutes CGI plane crash effect.
Right.
This is fine. Story above all else.
So they're watching a monitor, and it's just an animated shot of a plane hitting a building, and you see the little pod being released.
Yes.
So they find the pod. Nobody's there. The president isn't there.
Right. And they're just like, oh, this is all fucked. The president's clearly killed already. Probably got his butthole eaten out by people under the bridge.
Yeah, because they don't have any food. They're eating buttholes.
Yeah.
And they we hear this, like...
What a giggle this man has.
This guy should have played Joker, dude.
He would have... Was that hair? Was that his hair?
Yes, it was his hair.
Oh, he could have been a great Joker.
Frank Doubleday, who is no stranger to John Carpenter. He didn't have a big part, but he played one of the gang members in Assault on Precinct 13, which is we'll get to in the future.
Oh,
he's most famous for the guy who shoots Kim Richards, child movie star Kim Richards, in that movie.
Okay,
have you seen that movie?
Nice.
By the way, Assault on Precinct 13, my favorite John Carpenter theme, by the way.
We didn't even talk about... We saw this movie with John Carpenter at the Masonic?
Which was, yes, Masonic Temple, which is almost ruined by you fucking Rocky Horror Picture Show fans who are constantly going...
Oh,
every
that's
time
right.
Snake would be, I hate that. I know Auburn's like, you don't believe in having any fun. You fucking suck. No, fuck you. All right, because I didn't get to see this. I was 7 when this movie came out. I did not. This is one of those movies that was on cable constantly, so that's where I saw it. I never got to see it in the theaters. I'm excited, even though it was just a fucking DVD projection. It wasn't even fucking film.
Yeah.
I was excited to see it, and you motherfucking Rocky Horror douchebags had to ruin it for me with your constant hissing. Fuck you. If you're listening, fuck you.
But we got to see Carpenter play live, and that's why we also always talk about how the man plays his synth with one hand in his pocket and does his little white man dance.
You know, like I said, there's going to be a ton of tangents.
Sorry, guys.
Getting back to John Carpenter, what I love about the guy is he truly does. He's like Snake Plissken. He does not give a fuck.
I love it.
Did you hear the last movie he directed? He literally phoned it in. They were filming in like Eastern Europe. He was Skyping his direction. Because all John Carpenter wants to do now is play video games and watch basketball.
Yes.
He doesn't, and he's like, they're always like, well, how do you feel about the reboot? As long as the check clears, I don't give a fuck.
Dude, and I love it because it's that.
He's like in the 70s. Like, I've served my time. I deserve to do whatever the fuck I want. I've given you guys so many great, and okay, frankly, a lot of shitty movies too. After They Live, he just I don't know what happened to John Carpenter after They Live.
Yeah,
but he had that's the fucking streak he had going from fucking Halloween to They Live was fucking amazing.
Amazing, yeah. I feel like a few of those after were good, but I don't remember.
No, they were.
I have to see it because I thought I watched one or two.
Well,
after.
if we want, we can do Ghosts of Mars, which was originally going to be the third. If there was any sequels to, because we know there was never any sequels to Escape from New York.
Oh yeah,
that was going to be. It was originally going to be Escape from Earth.
Oh.
And then they had Ice Cube play the role that was going to be.
That's right. Oh,
Snake Plissken.
All right, so we're there. We got the whistling giggler.
This guy's fucking killing it, man. He's like this bit role Romero after the director George Romero. He named the character Romero.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Night of the Living Dead, everybody, you know that.
Oh, okay.
And so he's just like he's got fake teeth for some reason. And John Carpenter's making a joke. He's like, I should have done like ADR afterwards because he's talking through his fake teeth. So he's like, if you do anything to me, the president dies. If you're not in the air in 30 seconds, the president dies. And then he fucking pulls out this little hanky in his hand, opens it up, the president's finger with his little signet ring on it. We all know the president has his little signet ring.
Dude, of course I know. That's yeah.
And then like Huck's like, what do you want? 29, 28. He's just
Tell me what's going on under that bridge over there. Are they eating buttholes?
That's why it's called the 69th Street Bridge, Griff.
Well, I
because
know that.
Fun fact, there is no 69th Street Bridge. It's the 59th Street Bridge. I think it was a little nod to you because you're all about butt eating under a bridge.
Well, Murray, I'll be in the land of bridges tomorrow, and who knows? Some butts may be eaten. I got my butt eating bib. I got it ready. I cleaned it off.
So they're like, come on, he's serious. So they get in the choppers, take off.
Right.
So then they're like, fuck. He's like, because the Secretary of State is at Liberty Island. He's like, we got to send the cavalry in. He's like, no, I got an idea.
Murray, would you like to do this right now? Would you like to tell us how you think Romero,
first of all.
Oh, excuse me. Romero, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Romero made it to prison.
How he wound up in prison? I know exactly how he wound up in prison.
Please tell me how.
Illegally downloading Metallica. Specifically,
it is 1997.
Specifically, Saint Anger.
Holy shit, Murray, you are probably dead on.
Yeah.
I think he was just homeless. Probably on meth too.
He just like, well, yeah, I'm sure like some of these characters were just like they didn't do a crime. They were just like, fuck this. Like Cabby's like, this is where I live, you know.
Guys, this is gonna be an ongoing bit for the episode. But you know we're living in the Trump fascist America here. They've turned Manhattan, the city that hates them the most, into a prison just to spite them. Yeah. So, of course, they're going to be doing shit we see modernly. And one of the things we do now is we don't know what to do with homeless people, so go to prison.
Homelessness probably is a crime in 1997.
Yeah, so there we go.
Excuse me, unhoused. I didn't mean to. Sorry, I didn't offend anybody. People who are unhoused. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm probably right, but you could be right.
Your
answer? It's open to interpretation.
Your answer? Much more creative? Probably better. Yes. You're going to notice that Murray's probably got a lot more creative answers here because he's a better thinking man.
So
he's the brain of the operation.
Hauk is like, I've got an idea. Get me Snake Plissken. So now we're in Hauk's office, and the door opens. Great fucking lighting because it's just... You see the fucking camo pants, the fucking bulge in the pants, and then it's just from the waist up, this shadow. And he's got these, he's not even shackled. He has a bar between his hands.
Was it a bar or was it a rope? Or not a rope, but like a leather belt.
I think it was a bar.
I saw a leather belt.
And they're just doing a great job. Like everyone is scared of this fucking guy.
Yes,
he's incredible. The ultimate badass. Even Hauk, he's actually holding a gun and he's like loading up.
I love this shot because again, like I said, this kind of it's a western and a sci-fi rapper. Because you have the whole fucking scene where the sheriff's in his office and he's loading up his gun and his assistant's like, are you sure you want to be in here alone? You want me to get the guards? No. And he snaps the revolver shut. It's a very cowboy shit right there.
Right. So it's like, hey, Plissken, call me Snake.
Sorry, Murray.
Those guys
that's exactly what happened in that scene.
And then we get the little dossier on what Snake and Plissken is. SD Plissken. We never learn what the SD special delivery. I don't know.
But if they did a reboot, 15 minutes on his mother naming her son.
The first 15 minutes of the movie would be showing how he loses his eye. Oh, by the way, do you want to know how he loses his eye? I'm going to tell you right now how he lost his eye. Because we learned that he is a fucking fighter pilot. He's like the ultimate, fuck you, Tom Cruise. He's Top Gun.
Oh, man, this man has been to Leningrad, Siberia, Antarctica.
Well, because we got to remember, this movie was filmed deep in the heart of fucking the Cold War.
Yeah.
So we were still at war. So we were assuming, and obviously, even though the Soviet Union didn't even exist in 1997 in our world, we're assuming it's never going to end.
Yeah.
We're always going to be at war with Russia. So, yes, we're actually in a real war, a hot war, not a Cold War, with Russia in this movie. He's a hot shot. He's a lieutenant, Special Forces Unit, Black Light, 2 Purple Hearts in Leningrad and Siberia, youngest person ever to be decorated by the president. And so this is how he did not lose his eye, according to the novelization, because we learn in the novel that they use a lot. Nerve gas is used a lot in the war.
Oh, okay.
Which actually would be against the Geneva Convention.
Yes, it is.
Because we learned in World War I when they're using mustard gas. That shows you how fucked up mustard gas was. Hitler, one of the most evilest guys in the world, stuck to the Geneva Convention and did not use mustard gas.
He's doing the bad shit over here, but out on the field, he's like, no, these guys deserve better than mustard gas.
So what happened was, I guess he was flying through a cloud of like nerve gas, and he had a crack like in his helmet, and some nerve gas got into his eye, so it fucked his eye up.
Oh.
So it's light sensitive, so he wears a patch over his eye, so because it's too painful.
Interesting. That is a cool way to explain it. I like that.
Now, who knows what shitty thing they would have done if they did it now?
Eating pussy.
Something like that. So, and this is a scene, I meant to watch it, but I forgot to watch it. They did film a scene where they show the robbery that got him into prison.
Oh, okay.
And it's nothing big. It's just, what it is they're like in a subway. They just robbed the federal depository, which we know only people in Cliffhanger can do that. Only John Lithgow can do that. Mm-hmm. But that's how badass Snake is. Him and this one other guy did it.
Well, also the surfer crew from Point Break.
Well, not the federal depository. I'm
sure
they
right.
would try that.
Yeah, you're right.
But so what happens is they're in a subway, and Snake gets on the plane, and his buddy got shot or something during it. And this just shows you, because Snake is pure nihilism.
Yes,
like he's out for himself, but he has a code,
strong code.
So this is what separates men from animals. You have a code you live in life. You have some integrity, and his code is no man left behind.
That's right.
Because he's a soldier.
And you got to, audience, you remember this. You've seen this movie, but you remember that.
So he gets captured trying to grab the guy and get him on the fucking thing.
Of course.
So, okay, so now, and Snake is just giving him nothing but sass. Like, the president's plane went down. President of what? And he's like, I'm ready to kick your ass off this world, mister.
Not my president.
And then, he didn't say that. He didn't care about who any president is.
Yeah, I know. That's just today's nomenclature.
Snake just helps himself to a cigarette out, because this is back in the 80s when we could still smoke and we had freedom.
That's
and
right.
he just helps himself. And there was a thing that Kurt Russell wanted to do where he's like, how about in the future, self-lighting cigarettes? Like, you take a drag on it, and they tried it, and he burned his fingers or some shit. He's like, fuck, we're not doing this.
Yeah, I don't like the idea. I like the classic cigarette thing. Again, I like my sci-fi to be grounded. This is perfect.
So he just helps himself to a cigarette, starts smoking.
He's gripping that desk. See,
right.
We are the connection way early on.
And he says, who are you? And then Hawk goes, look, I'm pretty badass myself. You ever hear Texas Thunder?
Texas Thunder? Is that the tag team?
Yeah. No, it's his Special Forces unit.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And he's like, look, President's plane went down. He's got something we need in a briefcase.
It's going to stop the war.
I don't give a fuck about your war or your president. And then he's just he's just like, look, why do you need me? It's like, because you're the only, you fucking flew the Gulf fighter in Leningrad. Only you can get in and out silently, like a snake, if you will.
I know you will not care about this fact, but Hideo Kojima, who is a huge fan of John Carpenter, very much his own world, very, very much his own character story and everything. And he's got a mullet. He doesn't have Kurt Russell's Rockstar Hair.
Right.
He's admitted that he has modeled some of Solid Snake after Kurt Russell, but the voice actor David Hayter, he did Kurt Russell.
Well, yeah, Kurt Russell. I recently saw an interview with Kurt Russell, and he said he was asked to do it, and his whole vibe was, if John Carpenter's not involved, like I'm just not interested.
Okay,
because I mean, he's like, go ahead and do it. I don't care. But he's just like, I'm interested in doing new shit. Like, I've done Snake Plissken.
This is what I was mentioning earlier, is that Kurt Russell's just like, no, we did that. It's an iconic character. Let's do the next character. I don't want to live on this one thing. I want to keep growing. I want to keep experiencing.
Actually, did you ever hear it got developed. It never got released. There was a Snake Plissken video game. PC game. They never released it.
I think I heard about it recently again, but
They also have done, if anyone's interested, they did a series, I think it lasted like 12 issues, comic book, awful. It was awful written, awful art, garbage.
That sucks.
This is all we need. We've learned that we can't do it better.
Yeah, even John Carpenter took a second crack at it, and it wasn't as good.
But yeah, see, that's the thing. That's why I don't want to reboot, because we wouldn't get Snake Plissken. We'd get Solid Snake. That's how he would look. He would look like the character from the video game with the fatigues and all that shit.
Yeah, no, I could totally fucking see that. Yeah.
So he's like, look, I can see you don't give a shit.
Right.
How about this? I give you a full pardon.
It's your only chance of freedom.
And Snake's like, hand me the pardon. No, I know you. They call you Snake for a reason.
Yeah.
No, buddy. Do the mission. You get the pardon. So Snake's like, fuck, I'm in, because I don't want to go to fucking prison.
And again, we're moving at a great pace here. Everyone's like, why haven't they fought or shot anybody yet? We're building up, and we're moving at a fucking crisp ass, not this show, but, the movie. We're just doing the overhead camera pan over our loadout. Murray, beautiful loadout. 10? 10 out of 10?
Of course. All the gear he's going to need. Get fucking ninja throwing stars. One looks like a swastika for some reason.
Three different ninja stars.
We get his gun, which is basically an Uzi with a giant suppressor on the end and a giant scope on. Because remember, future is scopes. We learned that from Predator 2, where every gun had a fucking scope on it.
John Carpenter predicted that.
Yes.
81, he said everything's got
not
scope.
Only does he get a scope on his little Uzi, he gets a scope on his fucking revolver too.
Of course, he does.
You can't shoot. You don't shoot a revolver right up to your eye.
No, I don't get that.
But it looked cool. That's all we care about. Does it look cool?
Oh my god, I always forget his fucking name. In Road Warrior,
Mad Max?
Yeah, Mad Max, Road Warrior. But
Humongous.
Yeah, he had a scope on his too.
Of course, he had a scope on it. And he actually used it. Like, you could see it was like lighting up.
Yeah.
He didn't put it up to his eye, but the scope only works if you put your eye on it.
Yeah, I don't.
And he had great eyesight.
I'm sure Jack Metallier would explain to us why you actually, why you would want a scope on a revolver.
So we got normal shit, walkie-talkie. We get the fucking counter, the tracker. There's a tracker, he explains, that has... I don't know how he reads that tracker, because it's like, it reminded me of, I had an electronic football game when I was a kid, and it was just literally light up dots, and you would the whole thing was you just evade other dots.
Right.
It was just dots.
Again, imagination was key back in the day.
And we also get, it's a little a bracelet that it's like an eagle on it, and he's like, this is your tracer. When it works for 15 minutes, when you get the president, you hit it, and we'll come out and pick you up.
Right, and it's like a little secreted button and everything, and a secret button under the secret
catch
button.
That only Snake knows about. That's important.
That's right. That's the only reason why I stopped to point that out.
And we also get like infrared binoculars, which he never uses. I don't know how, because we never see anything. He's holding the gun, and yet he's got skin tight pants on, no backpack, no belt. Yet he has all this gear on him.
And, that's borrowing from the future of video games, because Solid Snake, that's his whole thing, is he has all this fucking equipment and boxes and shit.
Yeah. Snake did have a cardboard box. That's the one thing that the Metal Gear guy took from this movie. He hides in a cardboard box.
Oh, no, I think the first Metal Gear game came out in 86 or 87, because Nintendo.
Yeah. I have that.
There's like PC... They're weird floppy disk versions of the game, but the latest version came out in like 85 or 86.
We also get some more world building about what's going on in New York. That it's a prison, And they just left all, like, people, like we were just talking about, people are just using what they have. So there are cars on there. Yep. They don't have gas, but so they're steam powered.
There are steam powered, but there are also gas powered. Yeah.
But only like the Duke of New York gets to do that.
It's so interesting how they worked out the gas situation too, which we'll get to later.
There's also crazy people living in the subway. You gotta look up because they're cannibals.
One would call them crazies, another would call them Harkonnens. Or Harkonnens, depending on how you want to pronounce it, I guess.
And he's like, look, here's how you're gonna get into there, because you got to be silent. We can't have a chopper, or there's nowhere to land on there, except for top of the World Trade Center. And remember, people, this is the far off future in 1997. This ain't 2001, so the World Trade Center still exists in this world. 2 of them is, by the way. So you're going to land on top of the World Trade Center in your glider. You're going to go down the elevator works to the 50th floor. After that, you got to walk down.
I love how they know that fact.
Well, they probably had some people scope it out.
Maybe, I guess, yeah.
And so, and he hands over the tracker. So you have, and this is when you pay attention. You're like, what? Because you got a timer. You have 23 hours. He sets 23. He told Snake at the beginning 24 hours.
Yes.
23. Because in 22 hours, this is where it gets confusing.
Yes.
He gives him 23 hours. In 22 hours, there's going to be a summit in Hartford, Connecticut, where Russia and China are going to meet with us. And whatever the president has on him is going to be world peace. And Snake's like, what's on it? Do you know anything about nuclear fusion? And that's all we need. Like, we never get to learn what the fuck is this on this tape that's going to save the world. I guess one thing I can think about with, you got to remember, this was right after the 70s where we had the oil crisis.
Okay.
So maybe the war started because of oil, like much like in Road Warrior.
Okay.
And that the idea is we're going to have limitless energy because what's on this tape.
Yeah, that would be a good guess.
Why is this the most important information on? Because it's the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
It's on one tape, one cassette tape.
Yeah.
It's not written down anywhere.
No.
Nobody else knows about it. Their version of Oppenheimer knows nothing about this.
Clearly what happened was all these people got together. They got blasted. We're talking fucking butt-chugging, boofing, vodka straight from the bottle. Everybody was going for loco. It was an insane party, and they came up with the idea, recorded on tape. None of them could. They woke up and it's, dude, where's my car?
This is the ultimate mixtape, people.
Yeah.
You do not want to lose this. You do not want to get it all chewed up in your.
Are you saying this is better than the Guardians of the Galaxy mixtape?
This is, yes.
I just can't believe that.
So, but like I said, we're in for at this point. I'm in for the ride. It's ridiculous. The whole
yeah, we don't need every single thing to make sense. We don't need to be like, Snake can't carry that equipment on him. He doesn't have the tactical gear to do it. Who the fuck?
I'm in. I'm like, Future of the World's on a cassette tape. I'm in.
I love it because we get this thrown in our face all the time. Wrestling's stupid. Yeah, but it's not supposed to be this stupid.
Suspension of disbelief.
I just want to believe in the character, and the characters treat this world like it's their world.
Right.
They don't
unlike if they made a sequel, because they didn't make a sequel to this movie. They did. There's no winking at the camera.
None.
It's played straight. I mean, there's a lot of social commentary, but it's played straight.
Right. So you can get lost in this world.
You can enjoy it on 2 levels.
Yeah.
Just as an action-adventure movie, and then there's the social commentary.
Right. You can actually think like, oh, yeah. And it's a lot easier for me to do this because I was a fucking infant. Wait, a 0 born.
Yes, you were, yeah.
Unborn.
You weren't even swimming in your dad's balls at this time.
Not yet.
Yeah.
I don't understand the circulation period and all that, but yeah. And so you get, like, for me especially, it's just like, I know Reagan, I know Thatcher, and that's about all I know. Oh, Cold War.
Yeah. So they make up some. Dr. Cronenberg, named after David Cronenberg.
Nice. Okay.
Comes in, and they're like, "There's a lot of pollutants and shit out there, so you need to get vaxxed."
Yeah.
Snake is perfect for 2020. Because he's like, "I'm not a vaxxer. You know what that does to you."
He did take it like a champ, though.
He wants to get the fuck. He's willing to take the risk. Even though he's clearly anti-vax.
He's listening to Dr. Cronenberg. He's not like, excuse me, do you know about my rights?
I love they come up with some future like inject like
it injects.
I love how he doesn't even line it up with this fuck because the carotid arteries play an important role. So no,
Yes.
he just puts it in his neck and then
It's the Frankenstein bolts.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Cronenberg's like, tell me what? And then because I love how he like Hauk is like, what are you telling him for? But of course he has to tell him because this is his bargaining chip.
Right.
He's like, Snake, I know I can't trust your fucking ass because I know you just fly off to Canada as soon as you got in that glider. So a little ulterior plan I got. And this is another thing. We just go with it. It's ridiculous on the surface. Two microscopic charges were put in his carotid arteries that will disintegrate. The cores will disintegrate over a 23-hour time period.
Yeah. He gives them 21 hours now.
And this is a mini charge, just enough to burst your carotid arteries.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
Your head won't blow up. It'll just blow your carotid arteries.
And it's like, what am I supposed to do to free myself from this? How do you get it out of me? Well, just a little X-ray flash will disintegrate it.
Right.
That's it. And you know what? Again, I get these kind of like little fucking things in my sci-fi books that I read. Good. I don't care. This is a fine little detail. The stupid MacGuffin. This little detail.
As we would probably learn in a sequel, which there never was a sequel.
Yeah.
It was a hoax. Like, that's how they would explain it.
It's a bluff,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, they bluffed him. He did nothing in jail.
It's a Western again.
He probably had like a B12 fucking injection or something like that.
But again, it adds tension because Snake takes it seriously. Hulk takes it seriously. Everybody treats it real.
And
there is no winking.
Snake is like, when I get back, I'm going to kill you.
There's not a moment where the guy injects somebody else and laughs about it. Right. It's real.
And he's like, your plane's waiting. All right. So now we have 20 hours, 17 minutes, and 36 seconds.
Thank you, John Carpenter, for giving us the time. We love time.
Snake gets in the glider, takes off. So they're like, he's got like all these readouts inside this tiny glider with this gigantic cockpit with all these like monitors.
He's radioing in, still talking to Hawk, asking him, what happens if the president's dead when I get there?
Just get him out, Pliskin. He's worried. Now he's invested. Like, Snake's like, I have to do this now. What I love about it, like, Snake doesn't give a shit. But now he does give a shit because he's going to die.
He's going to die. Audience.
Because he was probably thinking, like, I bet I could escape from New York.
I know.
You know.
If we're like believing Snake's this ultimate slithery badass, we're just like, oh yeah, he's just gonna escape. But no, you add in the whole fucking thing with the neck and the bluff, and it's like Snake's gonna believe it.
And they do a thing. They check his tracer, and he's like, it works. So everything's ready. So okay, did I mention that Roger Corman's New World Studios did the special effects? Who was working for Roger Corman at this time?
Ooh.
A young James Cameron, or it might have been John, his brother, that you're familiar with.
I know John Cameron all too well.
So remember, all right, we don't have computer graphics, at least good computer graphics at this time. So this is how they did the cityscape, Griff. They made a scale model like you see in Godzilla movies.
Love it.
Painted it black and just put reflector tape, like grids on it.
That's good. It works.
So it looks like you're seeing a computer layout of Manhattan.
Yeah,
but it's just a little scale model.
It's fucking cool as shit.
Which James Cameron worked, and James Cameron also did a lot of the matte painting where you see like the fucked up New York.
Okay,
know?
yeah,
like he did that. So a connection to last week's episode, which we had, James Cameron's Terminator
and John.
Please
don't forget John. All right,
so he just perfectly lands right on the top of the World Trade Center.
I was asking you, how does he land this plane? Because it's not a helicopter, it's a plane.
It's a glider, even.
It's
not
a glider.
There's no engine.
Yeah, and so he manages to land it on the World Trade Center, and it's not an airstrip, it's not a runway. There's no real. And Murray says, Griff, you're a fucking moron. Did you pay attention to the movie? He's got an anchor.
Right, ejects an anchor, but he's still he's just hanging on. Gotta have that. You gotta have
the glider's hanging over. The nose is hanging over.
Gets out, walks up to, and by the way, this is just them making up what first of all, the top of the World Trade Center isn't this big.
Yeah.
They're just making it up. I don't think, because it would seem odd that there would be an elevator that goes directly to the top of the building.
It would be pretty weird.
Yeah. But hey, we're on along for the ride.
Yeah, maybe they had a lot of fat maintenance men, and they said, nope, elevator goes to the top. We're not going upstairs.
Goes down, works, hot wires the elevator.
Yeah, I see. See, Murray did this motion like he was combining wires. We know what he did. He took a screwdriver, jammed it in there, fiddled it, boom.
Yeah. Opens up, goes down to the 50th floor. He's like, I'm on the 50th floor. There's graffiti everywhere.
Oh, so good.
A little more world building. We see a character, boom, like in the background. We get that nice little sound effect, boom. And we see them later on. Native Americans have taken over the World Trade Center. So there's a Native American gang that lives in the World Trade Center.
Warrior style. I love it.
Exactly.
I love it. Everybody. Oh, my God. I'm sorry.
That's the thing with the art. This is why I don't want to see a new Escape from New York. I don't want to see a new Warriors, because they would remove all the things that make those movies unique.
No.
They would just have boring, realistic-looking gangs. I want the fucking Rogues and the fucking Warriors and the fucking Baseball Furies.
I want them to be unsavory people living in a fucking apocalyptic type world where they're doing unsavory things. Everything today, it's like wrestling, Murray. Everybody would just be a babyface. Everybody would get their moves in. Everybody would be like, I get to do this because of this. Some people are just motherfuckers when the world ends.
So he heads down to the street, he's got this tracker for the president, sees the fucking wreckage of Air Force One.
Right.
Obviously, much smaller than the Air Force One, but you're working what you're working with.
It's okay.
They got they actually bought a real plane and chopped it into pieces.
It's very cool. Yeah, it works.
So I still don't know how he's reading this fucking tracker. It's just literally red lights.
Well, there's an X coordinate, and there's a Y coordinate, and then there's a bleep coordinate. And the bleep is blooping. And it's like, okay, that's where I bloop.
So he heads out to an old theater. It's probably on 49th Street.
I love this kind of shit, too. Because prisoners, of course, they need their entertainment, too, Murray.
Right. And there's probably, in this future, it's probably a conservative one, being gay is probably a crime. And what are gay guys going to do but perform?
Right.
Drag, you need your drag shows, even in the apocalyptic future of 1997.
They somehow have their own coordinate. The theater quadrant,
right?
Of course,
right,
Broadway.
That's exactly where the gays that would be their
navigate to. And those buildings probably have trapdoors, all kinds of shit for them to scurry and hide and do all that. And they're backdoor men, so makes sense.
There's a lot of bandanas in this area.
Oh my God, that's how Snake gets into the building. He climbs a rope. I'm kidding.
The musical review featuring the Velvets are performing today.
Oh, that was on the marquee?
Yes.
Oh, amazing. Details, people.
So he walks in. Their ticket takers passed out. So he just walks past it. One thing I love. Remember, no electricity, so it's just torches and candles everywhere.
Yes,
everything is lit that way.
Beautiful. And again, you said this is St.
Louis.
It was in St. Louis.
Yeah, it was just a theater and a fucking abandoned theater, much like the Fox Theater used to be in Detroit.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's very cool use of this shit. I get it could be a little bit dangerous, but still, it's so cool that they got the shot shot in this because it looks amazing. And like you said, all fire. And he's walking in, he gets in the main theater room, and Carpenter gives a little taste of what we're enjoying here and even shows us a new character.
Well, we see they're performing in drag.
Yep.
And they're doing a song. And if you listen, they're actually singing about how fucked up New York is. You'll get killed, you'll get stabbed.
Yes.
But you'll enjoy it.
Again, making art about the world.
John Carpenter is playing the violin player.
He is?
Yes.
Amazing.
I also forgot to mention Nick Castle, who played Michael Myers in the first Halloween.
Yes.
Co-wrote this with John Carpenter.
Okay. I was like, I know that name. It's because I saw it on IMDb.
Yeah. And so, we see Ernest Borgnine himself playing the role of Cabby. This guy's he's one of those guys, like, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Yes.
He just enjoys life. So he's like, this is the most amazing, everything is the most amazing thing to this guy. So he's loving it.
Yes. So, Murray, how did he end up in prison?
Well, I think exposing himself at Target.
Okay,
he seems like that kind of, like, sex offender, definitely. Fine.
Yeah.
Like exposing himself to women and children at like a Target. Yeah.
I say that for a different character, actually.
Okay.
No, I think he got flowers for Algernon. You know the plot of that novel? So that's the novel. You'll know it when you hear it, where he's just so low IQ, they don't know what to do to him. And in the novel, they give him smart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's that one.
Yeah.
But he was basically so low IQ for the world, they were just like, you're a threat to humanity because we don't know what to do with you, even though it's harmlessly innocent. And they just threw him into the prison because they didn't know what to do with them.
Well, they do make it sound like he's a lifelong New Yorker and he just didn't want to leave because he says I've been a cabbie for fucking 30 years.
Yes.
So that's probably the true origin of cabbie. He just didn't want to leave.
I think it falls in between our horrible versions of him.
He's definitely a sex offender on some level.
My first go at that was a woman passed out in his car and he grabbed her breast. Or at least did the Al Franken, mime the breast thing.
That's in this world, that's enough to go to prison. Yeah.
Well, in Trump's world, of course it is.
So Snake, he's being led down to the basement. So he goes, and then Cabby notices him, like, I know that guy. Because Snake is apparently world famous.
Yeah,
everybody knows what a badass this guy is.
We always complain about Seagal and how everybody knows Seagal and everything. But when it works, it fucking works.
There's a lot of Snake 5 years. Everyone knows about Snake 5 years before.
Oh yeah.
He's the opposite.
Right. All of
5 years ago, everybody knew you, Snake.
Right.
What happened? It's the past 5 years people don't know about.
Right.
Like what happened.
Right.
So he's like, oh my God, I gotta get an autograph. It's fucking the Snake Plissken. I know that rock star hair.
Right. He goes up there. He turns them around. They're of course, staircase corridor type situation. So they're secluded. Turns them around. Snake Plissken, you got to ride in my cab.
I thought you were dead. By the way, everyone who says I thought you were dead dies in this movie.
Beautiful.
Because that's the tagline. Everyone says I thought you were dead in this movie. To Snake. And he's like, well, I got better. Like, Snake, you don't want to go down there, Snake. There's a lot of butthole eating going on down there, Snake.
I brought a fork.
And he just goes down there.
He's always got a quip.
So he's walking. He sees...
And Murray, just like you said, there's some vile acts. They were punk rock kids. They were probably from the suburbs of Not the suburbs.
They went to a CBGB show. I noticed because they had polo shirts on.
Yep.
They went and the sandals.
Yep.
They went to the CBGB show
Cargo
and got
shorts.
stuck there.
Yep.
Because they had to see Agnostic Front one more time.
One more time. Yeah. They're tossing somebody around.
Yeah, this is weird. This is a weird situation. And I guess apparently this just shows how nihilistic Snake is because he's like, I'm not getting involved because there's a woman being literally passed around, and you can tell. Obviously, I mean, this is a sick world we're living in. I'm sure women are constantly being raped in this world. So she almost has she's tuned out to the world because she's literally just being pushed back. They're almost like slam dancing, just pushing her back and forth between each other.
Yeah.
And then one guy just rips her shirt off. Snake looks at it and your problem, not mine.
And John Carpenter doesn't go full canon. We don't see any more than that. We don't even really get to see.
We don't even know if she's into it or not. We don't know what's going on with this.
We we get Snake's view of it, which is more filth, and I'm moving on. And this is where he heads down another dark corridor. My favorite not AW 80s manager. Valet.
Yeah, valet.
Dark corridor.
Yeah.
And he just happens on a hobo and a campfire eating beans.
Yeah.
And I was like, what kind of Dark Tower bullshit just happened here? We're in the middle of the desert?
Nice boots you got there, pal. Nice boots. And then he's the fucking distraction for the goons.
Snake's onto it. He just grits his teeth, Clint Eastwood style, and fucking overhand punches one guy and then side swipe kicks another guy.
And the guy's like, I don't want any trouble, pal. I don't want any trouble.
I'll go on my way. Here are the beans. Only half chewed.
And remember, Snake doesn't have time. He's got the fucking charges dissolving in his neck as we speak. So he just moves on.
He doesn't even eat the beans.
And then, he kicks him over.
I
watched this on Laserdisc so I can enhance it. I didn't notice at first. He's got the metal shin guards on his boots. On the toe of his boot, spikes. So if he kicks you in the balls, you're fucked up.
Oh my God! Yeah.
There's a guy.
Your seminal fluid is everywhere.
There's a guy. We're assuming he's the president because he has the fucking wrist tracker button thing on, being pummeled over a sink by some guy.
Right.
He's just like boom, boom, boom. Snake walks up on it. You know, he just boots the guy in the ass and the guy just disappears. Like, the guy's like, I don't want any of this shit. He probably got the spikes in his ass.
Well, I'm guessing the guy was already passed out when he started punching on him, or maybe this is the guy, Murray, I've seen this under the bridge a few times where they like to have their butt fondled while being punched in the head.
Mr. President. Oh, sure, I'm the president. It's our favorite Buck Flowers, who made a career out of playing winos in movies.
Right. Okay.
In fact, I'm sure he's been in a few movies we've done.
Probably.
Yeah, this was Buck Flowers' role. You needed a wino. Call Buck Flowers.
He killed it.
I'm the president. So Snake's like disgusting. He's like, where the fuck do I go now? Calls up.
How did you even get this? I just woke up with it.
Yeah. And then he's like, Hail to the Chief. He's singing like a fucking Christmas carol. It's a song.
I like that. Hail to the Chief. The president is good.
Huck, he's dead. Get me. You know, Snake. You got to find the fucking president. He's like, the president's fucking dead. I have no leads now.
I just love it because you go look at any of the people living under tunnels and everything. Channel 5's even doing videos.
Chuds, yeah.
Yeah, Chuds. Is that one of your favorite childhood movies? Wasn't that a childhood movie?
It's not one of my favorites, but cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
Yeah. I just saw like a video about people, living under tunnels and everything. It looks much like what John Carpenter represented here. He did a great job.
So Snake exits the theater. He's like, I don't know where do I go from here? So he just picks up a broken down chair, sits in it, plays with his rock star hair a little.
Yeah, doesn't he try to radio into Hawk and be like, hey, the president's dead,
yeah, he
so
did, yeah.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, that's cool. Find his body. I don't give a shit. You're not getting out of there until the president's recovered.
So he's just sitting there, and then all of a sudden, we see people in the background scurrying around. He gets up and investigate. A fucking manhole cover opens up. All of a sudden, because it's a thriller. The funk of 40,000 years is just emanating. It's the crazies from the subway, Griff.
Oh, amazing. And they are just starting to flood the street. And Snake is able to just kind of like move himself back. And he's trying to walk backwards because he thinks they're all in front of him. But then he turns and realizes he's getting surrounded.
Right.
And so he's making his escape and everything. And I don't remember if he gets pulled into or he just
goes into a chock full of nuts, as you would.
Chock full of nuts, which is, of course, a diner?
I think it was a chain of coffee shops. I'm not sure. Okay. Joe Corey, Matt Sosi, I know one of you would know.
Oh, it was actually like an East Coast thing?
I think it was all over. I think we had a chock full of nuts around here somewhere.
Oh, okay.
This is the early 80s. They probably went out of business in the 80s.
Right.
So he stops in there and to hide out because he was told about these crazies because they're cannibals. So you want to get the fuck out of here. Goes in there and then he bumps into a woman who's in there.
Right.
This is a mullet, people.
This is a mullet. This woman has a mullet.
Played by Susan Hubley, who was his wife at the time. Kurt Russell's real-life wife at the time.
I was like, I recognize this woman.
And she's just hiding out because she was in the wrong turf at nightfall, so she has to hide out for the night until the crazies go back down into the subway.
That's
right.
They
ran out of food. This is where they come up to get food.
Snake, being new to this world, keep your voice down. She's like, oh, no.
This is what makes no sense. Because she's like, hey, are those real cigarettes? And he just hands her one.
Yeah.
And then he's like, cover up the flame. They won't hear me. What he didn't say here. He said cover the flame so they can't see it.
Yeah.
What the fuck's up with that? Something like something a chick with a mullet would say.
Something a chick with a mullet would say.
And she's like, hey, are you a cop? I'm an asshole. No, you're fucking Snake Plissken. I thought you were dead. And we're like, oh my God, she's not long for the world. She just said the magic words. I thought you were dead.
And, oh, man, I just love how this happens. Because the crazies, we saw them climbing buildings. They're high-energy crack addicts, They could do a lot of things. Their fingers have been sharpened into incredible muscles, like rock climbing, tumbling muscles.
Well, he explains why he's here. He's like, I'm here for the president. Because, obviously, it's like there's nothing going on in New York. So when you hear the president's plane crash, everybody knows about it.
Yeah, of course.
She's like, will you take me?
Oh, that means you got a way to get out of here. Will you? And she starts getting fresh with them. Get me out of here with you?
And you notice Snake he's what they call a sigma. Have you heard what a sigma is?
Probably.
There's alphas and there's betas. Sigmas are guys that just go their own way. They do their own thing. They don't give a shit.
Sure.
He's just like, she's blowing heaps of pussy fog on him.
Dude, the fog.
And it's just going right past him. It
makes sense why the foundation of this place just crumbles is because all the fog, it's moistening things.
They even mention it in the commentary, like how asexual Snake is.
Yeah.
Because he's not even picking up on, she's not even hints. She's all over him. She's just, telegraphing.
Even when the Barbobot comes into this movie, he's just like, I got a mission.
Yeah. And so, he just kind of pushes her away. And then he might not be smelling the pussy funk, but the crazies are. They're zeroing in on it.
And I told you, they got that hand strength. So, guy just pries the floorboards open, pulls himself up, and this is where we get the Shining. I'm here.
Right. You know why she was in here? Selling oregano, saying it was weed.
Of course she was.
That's so offensive. You got to go to jail for that. So he takes off.
I'm so offended, I'm going to go pee.
All right, so he hightails it out of there. And this is where the novelization comes in. He kills one of the crazy guys, and he notices on his arm he has that tattoo that Hawk said his son had.
Oh.
So his son became one of the crazies.
So one of the crazies.
Yeah.
You see, that would even have worked in the movie, too, because it just kept moving along at a pace. Just happened on it. Saw the tattoo. Move on.
Right. So he does the thing. He shoots a fucking. Apparently, the walls are made out of styrofoam in this fucking part of New York. He shoots a circle and then jumps. It's literally. They say the walls are like paper thin in New York.
Yeah,
this is literally.
I mean,
no studs, just a piece of fucking styrofoam.
We see this in Commando. We see this in fucking so many movies in the 80s. And hey, this is 81, so this might have been where the idea came up.
As he's escaping, he's jumping over a wall. He drops his walkie-talkies, and now he has no contact with
Okay,
Hulk.
that's what that was.
It gets broken.
Right.
So he's running down this alley, still being followed. And at the end of the alley, Cabby just happens to roll up. Hey, Snake! Yeah, you gonna finally ride in my car with me? He jumps in the fucking back seat, and he's like, "You shouldn't be out here, Snake. This is time of night. All the crazy people come out." He's just. Like I said, just enjoying life. He pulls out a Molotov cocktail, lights it, opens a little hatch in the roof, hurls it out at the crazies.
Loved it. This cat belonged in the Road Warrior world. With all the little compartments, the fucking Molotov cocktail station he had set up and everything. I love Cabby's car. And, Cabby, despite maybe his crimes, he's pretty cool too.
And so Snake has nothing to go on, but he knows. Cabby apparently knows a lot. He's like, I know everybody around here.
You said it. He's been cabbying for 30 years and just didn't leave Manhattan because he's like, no, these are my streets.
And he's like, so Snake, he doesn't have time for fucking around. So he just puts a gun to his head. Where's the president? Oh, the Duke's got the president. Who's the Duke? You don't know the Duke!
Duke!
The Duke of New York, he #1. Everybody knows the Duke. Take me to the Duke. But you meet him, you're dead.
And that's where we roll up to the library. I think it was a library.
It was the library,
okay.
Yes.
Good.
Of course, because, the character we're going to meet, of course, he would be living in a library.
Right.
So Cabby they go up to it. So I'm sure it's supposed to be whatever the big library in New York City. I don't know what that is.
Here's the thing I appreciate about this. They didn't just park on the steps of the library, even though it looked like they did.
Yeah.
They
park like a block away.
They parked a block away, and Cabby tells them, I never leave my car, first of all. But for Snake Plissken, I'm leaving my car.
But why would he? I mean, obviously, it plays into later on, but there's no real logical reason.
Right.
Parking a block away.
Yeah. It's just to get these establishing lines of just the fact that Snake fucking Plissken is alive.
There is a reason, movie-wise, not logic-wise, but there is a reason.
Okay.
We'll get into it. So he takes his shoe off, of course, as you do, and knocks. It's a cavernous there's only 2 people living in this fucking building. And it's cavernous because it's the biggest library in New York.
Right.
So he's banging his shoe on it. And you hear a woman's voice. Who is it? It's me, Cabby! Cabby, get the fuck out. We can see Cabby annoys them,
Yep.
apparently. I got somebody. I got Snake Plissken.
He's dead.
Door opens. Boobs first come out.
Well,
Adrienne Barbeau, everybody. During the filming of this movie, wife of John Carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a family affair.
That's right. Because she was also in The Fog.
Yes. It's probably, he got into her fog.
He got into her. Well,
yeah.
I don't blame him. Because even with that weird haircut she's got here, I'm in her fog.
Yeah, she's got a perm. And but she's got big boobs too, and she's got a torch. I like it. She doesn't, that's what we got to use. She has a torch with her,
right?
And she's like looking up, like Snake's just chilling back there. Like you said, Snake, I ain't got time for pussy, man.
Yeah, he's looking at that fucking watch that's telling him I got 17 hours.
And she's like, all right, I've heard she does the I thought you were dead line, and then she like allows him in because they're this is a celebrity, Snake fucking Plissken,
right?
So like she's like, Snake's like, what's going on with this chick? He's like, oh man, that's Brain Squeeze.
Oh,
the Duke gave her because of all the shit he does for him. Because we learned this guy named Brain, he's the guy who came up with the steam-powered engines. He's the guy who figured out how to fucking get gasoline. So Duke needs this fucking guy. So that's why he gives him the. I mean, obviously the Duke fucked Maggie and then just gave, like, you can have her now.
Side piece type situation.
Right,
yeah.
Sloppy second situation.
Yeah.
And the Brain's happy to get whatever he can get.
Makes me wonder who else the Duke has, in New York here, because it's like Adrienne Barbeau, the fog coming off. Maybe he gave her away because he was falling under her fog and he didn't want to lose power.
Maybe he's gay.
Hey,
because Romero's giving us some strong gay vibes,
hey,
and that's his right hand man.
That's a very good point. So, guys, look how progressive this movie was for 1981. Our strong, iconic black leader, probably gay.
The way he dresses is kind of
well, the way he decorates.
He's very flamboyant. Yeah,
the way he decorates.
So they ushered him in to meet this Brain character, but Snake knows this guy. Harold Hellman, Kansas City, 4 years ago, you left me in Fresno, Bob, to fucking die. And then, of course, played by the great Harry Dean Stanton. We all love Harry Dean.
Oh, my God, yes.
And he plays it perfectly. This weaselly fuck. Got his fucking ascot.
Trench coat.
It's like a lab, Jake, because he's a brain, so it's like a lab coat.
Oh, it's just dirty as fuck? Because it looked like Columbo's raincoat.
Yeah. No, it's like a lab coat.
Yeah,
because he's a professor.
That makes sense.
And we learned that this is this weaselly fucker that fucking bailed on. He was probably the wheelman for the robbery.
Okay,
and he bailed on them because the heat got. And this is Brain throughout the movie. He's just constantly flipping sides, because he just wants to save his own skin.
Right, and the excuse he gives here was, Snake, we had a time that you were supposed to join us.
And Snake's not having it, so he fucking pins fucking Brain back in his chair with his foot, puts his gun. We see Maggie whips out a gun out of her fucking crotch.
She's got
a gun, a knife. She had a knife.
Oh, it was a knife? I was going to say, it's a Derringer.
Yeah, no, it's a knife. Because nobody has guns. That's what I like about it. Like
scarcity.
Yes.
This is, again, why Fury Road is not that great of a Mad Max movie, because there's an abundance of literally everything.
Right.
I know. Murray, come on, Bruce Lee. Yeah, Millie wants to be on this episode.
Yeah, sorry,
really
that was
bad.
more Ginty than Bruce Lee. I'm sorry.
It was very Ginty of you.
And so he's ready to kill him, and then he's always like, no. I'm the only guy who can help you. I'm the only guy that can get you to the Duke. So he's like, fucking Snake's like, fuck, you're right.
I do need, and he does tell, I'll blow your fucking squeezer right here if you're lying to me. So
he's like, I know where the president is. So he's like,
the exact location of where the president is.
And he's like, Snake's like, you're full of fucking shit. And he's like, no. We're gonna all escape. The Duke's got the place. Like the president, nobody gives a shit about the president. He's like 17 hours. The president's not even gonna fucking matter.
Right. But Brain, of course, is trying to hold up. He's trying to hold his status in the prison world. So he's like, you gotta lay low with the Harold thing, though. I'm Brain here.
Well, no, he actually, because This is the hottest babe he's ever been with. All right.
Oh, he's trying to stay cool.
He's got to get it back. So he's like, don't call me Harold.
Oh, he said it with anger.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. See, guys, this is where Murray's excellence with this movie chimes in. Did you notice what Brain had in the background of his library, though?
An oil derrick.
An oil derrick.
Yeah, that's where he's getting the gas.
It's so crazy. And Cabby's in here going, hey, Brain, since I did bring you steak Pliskin, maybe I could get a little gas for my ass? You know, a little fuel for the mule down there?
So they're heading out, and like Brain tells about his role in the Duke's organization. He gets the gas, and he also got a this didn't make any sense either. He got a diagram because the bridges are all mined. One guy escaped until he got to the end, and he got shot. How did he get the diagram if the guy got shot?
Paper airplane got shot, threw it backwards. It sailed all the way back into Brain's little hand.
So they have a diagram for the 69th Street Bridge, which does not exist in New York City.
Again, it's a fun sex word because John Carpenter was fucking Adrienne Barbeau at the time.
Actually, no, he just made it up because there's no bridge that small in fucking New York City.
Narrow.
It's a 2-lane.
Yeah, it's narrow as
fuck. But why? Because it was a small bridge they could use in St. Louis.
Right.
So that's how they use it.
Yeah.
And so okay, that's...
Again, we got the map. We know where the mines are at, which the role that plays, because, again, of how small this bridge is, makes no sense. It's cluttered with cars and...
That probably blew up the mines, so it should be... all the mines should be blown up.
I know. And it's like...
Well, we're on the ride. We're going with it.
Again, the logic of this is very... it's very thin.
Yeah.
And yet, this is one of the most enjoyable movies out there. Right. It is an incredible movie. And here we are, honing up to all of its flaws.
Right. Cabby goes, hey, that's the Duke. I know the sound of his engines. And as they're staring at, when we see this amazing cat, of course it's a Cadillac.
Everybody bails. They're taking cover.
Well, Cabby's the first to bail.
Yeah.
As soon as because they're staring at the cars coming, and they look back, and Cabby's cab's just taken. I don't know how this old fucker hightailed it a block down there and got it, because it's literally 2 seconds.
Yeah. He's got that simple strength.
And even Maggie's like, Cabby, you fucking turd.
Yeah.
Because we assume. By the way, why is Maggie? Why do you think Maggie got in?
Oh, we're going back to this, of course. Yeah. Maggie, I know for a fact, if we're talking about a fascist America, kiss the black man.
No, Griff. She's a teacher who slept with her student.
There's a whole...
That's why she was drawn to Brain, because she's an intellectual, too.
I wanna let you in on a little side story here. There's a whole situation going on with the preschool that my family's been involved with because the kids went through preschool.
Satanic cult?
Yeah, satanic cult.
Yeah.
And one of the teachers there, very cool teacher. I've met her several times because I've gone to all their events and everything and donated to it. She's getting ousted. And you can't just say we're going a different direction. People are accusing her of harming the children. So there was a story that came up where a kid fell over and she looked back to her assistant and said, I was nowhere near that kid. That's what we're doing to fucking people just trying to be cool around kids.
Well, there's a little social commentary from Golan-Globus Theater, people.
Let's fucking take it a little easy on the teachers.
What do you think Brain is in there for?
Brain. Murray, I can't separate the man from the character, the actor, So, I love Harry Dean Stanton. Clearly, he was in some kind of, large corporation or something. They needed a fall guy. They used Brain. Boom. He's in prison doing time. Company moves on.
No. Brain was selling counterfeit Taylor Swift tickets. And as we know, in this world, Taylor Swift is emperor.
It's 1997, so she is 7.
I'm amazed you know her age.
Well, she's only a few years younger than me, so.
Yeah, that was it. Taylor Swift guy.
Taylor Swift, okay.
All right, so amazing. This fucking car.
Simple. It's not anything crazy. They didn't go.
It's something a guy as ostentatious as the Duke of, who would call himself the Duke of New York, first of all, would have. By the way, when they keep talking about doing the reboot of this movie, The last time I heard, they were going to do a trilogy. And the first movie was going to be The Rise of the Duke.
No,
we were
fuck
going to
that.
learn how the Duke became the Duke. I don't need to know the Duke. All I need to know about the Duke is what I'm seeing from this car and what he's wearing.
Yep. I know what they would do with the modern movie because we don't do ugly movies anymore. We wouldn't do an ugly movie about him. It'd be a compassion-filled, like, oh, he's only doing it because of this reason. And actually, he's a sweet man. He's probably a cutthroat, fucking crazy type of guy, you know? You don't rise to the top of the prison chain without...
What do you think the Duke is in there for, Griff?
Selling single cigarettes.
No. He was a black cop who killed a white man.
Oh,
That
a
is-
guilty white man.
That is illegal.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
a guilty
it
white
was,
man.
It was a guilty white man.
Yep. Okay.
Uh,
He was the man during the January 6th riot who
Yeah.
shot, what's her name?
yeah. Okay, it's a Cadillac, of course. We all know it. Fucking chandeliers
Yes.
on the hood.
Yes, Beastie Boys, eat your heart out.
Disco ball hanging from the rear view.
Uh-huh. I love.
You had like some tinsel on the back. You don't see
Tinsel.
it until later
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
like tinsel in the back.
I just love that the fucking like hood ornaments, the lights, jangly as fuck too.
Yeah.
So when you're driving
And
over,
they
all the-
work. The chandeliers have lights on.
Yeah. He's so Brain probably like wired that up for him and everything. It's so fucking good. It's simple. It's elegant. It's perfect pimp shit. You know.
Well, I'm glad you said pimp because also hydraulics. The car has hydraulics.
It
on
did?
Yes, it did.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Because when he stops, it goes.
Oh,
goes
you're
down.
right. You're right.
Of course, we know who plays the Duke of New York. The only guy who could play the Duke of New York, Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes. In the classic days of Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, the pre-Scientology days.
That's right.
Steps out looking like somebody who is in Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. He's got he's got jeans, cowboy boots, a fucking pirate fucking jacket.
Dude, and then he's got the epaulets on his shoulders, the tinsel.
No
hanging
shirt,
off it.
by the way, underneath.
No
there.
shirt, but he's got the He-Man chain like medallion thing too. I noticed that in the final scene where he's like, they had an overhead shot of him. So it's not a gold. It could be gold, but it's like dingy as fuck, which again makes sense.
Well, they don't have that shit. This is a prison, so he's just making do with what he had.
Right,
He's got
right.
some chains.
Right. So it's like bronze or something, but it has like that medallion in the middle that it all connects to. And I was just like, man, now that we're saying it, flamboyant as fuck.
Right. And he's got a fucking pimp hat on, too.
Of course he does.
With his shades.
Car full of dudes.
And he gets out, strikes a fucking pose. Fucking Romero, his boys get out, surround him because they're there because they're ready to move. They got the president, so they're gonna get. What the plan is, they're gonna go down the 69th Street Bridge. That's why they need the diagram that Brain has.
That's right.
With the president, and they're gonna give their demands.
Right. Usually you just this is a very simple story that the characters really fucking carry here, but man, I didn't realize how simple this story was. He's got the
super
map.
simple,
He's
yeah.
got the tape.
Right.
That's it.
That's all you need. When
And
you have
the-
great characters, you don't need a complicated story.
Again, wrestling 101. Simple story, complex characters.
So Maggie, Brain, and Snake are hiding behind like a dumpster. They see the guys go in to the thing. So Snake's like, we need some wheels.
Right.
So Snake walks up. Unfortunately, the guys gotta drive a station wagon. They don't get the cool car.
Well, again,
Well, I love it because much like the cars in Road Warrior, it's like no windshield. So what do? They just put some fucking rebar across the fucking windshield.
That's right.
And the windows are fucking rebar.
that's right.
Snake sneaks up on the dude. There's a guy sitting on the hood just chilling. That actually was Kurt Russell's longtime stunt double.
Nice.
And he does he just punches the guy through the fucking bars.
Right.
Knocks him out. The guy hears it, takes that guy out. I forget how he just punched the guy out.
There was a clever way they did it, and Murray, I also forgot. It's been a long day.
So they carjack the car. Unfortunately, it is a station wagon, so it only goes 30 miles an hour.
But again, we're playing into the whole post-apocalyptic thing, where it's like, you take what you get.
Right.
If it runs, it's gold.
So Brain is like, look, they're holding the president at the train yard. I got a shortcut. There's no way fucking the Duke is going this route.
Yeah.
So let's just go here. Why? Because on Broadway, the angry hobos live.
But yeah, here's a part where I think they would really break away from the world and just add in like a modern car and be like, oh yeah, this guy was driving the 2027 Ford Bronco, fully loaded.
Yeah.
And
There's a fucking I'm glad you brought that up. There's a shitty ass post-apocalyptic movie called Doomsday, which was kind of like this kind of movie, and it irritated me because the heroine, it was a female-led movie. She finds like a Mercedes that's been sitting in for like 30 years.
Yeah.
It's a brand new Mercedes, starts it up.
Yeah.
The battery is still like juiced up. Like it irritated me.
Not even like under rebar and cement or anything like that.
No,
Weird.
brand new Mercedes.
Just hanging out in a parking lot that people are like.
Well, it was in like some warehouse, whatever, but still, it wouldn't be runnable. It's been sitting there for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry guys. Sorry.
So they go down Broadway, and the bums are just hurling bricks at them, and they can only go like 20 miles an hour because their car's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's a station wagon. We've all been. It's got the suicide seats in the back where you're looking. You know, you can strap in, but you're looking out the fucking back of the car. Rutger Hauer's staring into your eyes.
Get to the end of the street, and it's blocked off by a wall of cars.
Yeah.
Piled on top of each other. They're fucked. So Snake's like, turns around. I guess we're going to have to go back the way we came.
No panic in that eye.
Oh, no. He just kicks it in reverse. Somehow reverse, you can go like 80 because he goes fucking through it.
You know what, Murray? That's a fact that most people don't know about station wagons. But they're, in the golden era of YouTube, there used to be a lot of really good content creators, and there was a guy who would review cars like this, standard cars, and his breakdown of the station wagon is, a lot of people didn't know this, but the torque available for a station wagon in reverse is incredible.
10,000 horsepower.
10,000 horsepower.
Adjusted for inflation.
It's basically like the same kind of torque you need to drag a tractor trailer. Like a semi, the 40-foot trailers or whatever they carry.
Yeah.
53-foot, I think, is what it might be. But yeah, that's how much torque it has.
So he slams right through the wall. It's take off, head to that train yard. So they show up at the train yard. And, okay, this is the plan. Brain's going to run a distraction. He's going to distract the guards while Snake gets on top of the trains because Brain knows what car he's in.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So we see him. He's walking up on the guard. Nobody, and for good reason, nobody trusts Brain.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, Duke sent me. Wants me to check on the president.
Brain, can I ask you, friend, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Again, these prisoners come from all over, so whatever this accent is...
this is the only prison we have in America.
Yeah, that's right. So whatever this accent is, it makes sense.
It's like, Brain, all I know is nobody is supposed to talk to the president but Duke. Well, I don't know. He said, he's just distracting. We see in the background Snake walking across the top of the trains.
That's right.
He sneaks into the car. There's guys like
two guards, yeah.
The president's like beat it the fuck up. He's tied to a chair. He's scared shitless.
That's right.
Snake takes out one guy. Guy turns around. He's got because they don't have guns. He has a crossbow.
Yes. Scarcity, everybody.
Shoots Snake in the thigh. Snake throws that fucking ninja star right to the head of the guy.
That's right.
Takes him out.
The president is shaking profusely at this
shaking.
point.
Oh, I can't.
I love that. I missed that the first time through when I was doing the notes, and second time I caught it where he's stop shaking. Doesn't give a shit. This is his MacGuffin. This is what he's here to do, and he's calling him a bitch. Just stop shaking. You're my ticket to freedom.
So he grabs the president. They go on the other side of the train, which I guess apparently nobody's hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. This is like the back half of it, and there's nobody watching, patrolling anything. Right. Yeah. They could have just all gone in the back end, maybe.
Maggie was there. They're like, that chick with the big tits is here. So everyone's like...
Yeah, she might have just been waiting on the car like Dangerous Men
By the way, I
style.
want to point out, because this will be important, while they were going down Broadway, Snake handed Maggie his revolver. Because that's why I explained why she has a revolver now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't really see it. It's blinking, you miss it.
The revolver that goes poo.
Yes. But it has a cool scope on it.
It has a cool scope.
So Snake and them, they're walking by, and then... boom! Another crazy fucking sound effect goes off, and it's the guards, and they grab fucking Snake and the president.
They're jumping, they're like toppling over the train cars and everything. They're all surrounding him.
Yeah, because Snake's like fighting these guys, beating the fuck, but eventually this dog pile is ass.
That's right.
And then fucking Duke shows up. He's like, hey, Brain, this is a friend of yours. He had a gun on me, Duke. I had no choice. Right. Weaselly fucking bitch. Did you notice Romero in this scene? Romero walks out, cause he like slinks out from the side.
Dude, this guy is so fucking good.
Goes up he looks at Maggie's tits, and then he does a thing with his shirt, like he like pops his like fucking like collar or something, and then he just walks off and just points at Maggie as he's walking. It's crazy.
The scenes like this where it's just
and that's just a guy like, I'm just gonna do something. Like
right.
He probably never talked to John Carpenter on the set of the movie. He was just like, I'm gonna do this.
And the way they shot it too, where it's just like they're using the same framing for every shot, but they're just showing you this, not like focusing you on that. Because I missed that.
Yeah,
I missed that completely.
That's why you listen to our show, people. Because most of you probably didn't notice.
Yeah,
this.
I hate everything today because nothing feels like you earned. I'm sorry to use this. You earned it. Everything is spoon-fed to you. It's like, you know what? That guy did a really cool thing. Let's zoom in on it. Let's focus in on it. When you make a good movie, people are going to watch it over and over, and they're going to notice these things. They're going to tell other people about these things. They're going to go fucking watch it and notice these things. Like, people, when they watch this after listening to this, will pay very close attention to Romero.
This is why we can't do 20-minute episodes. I'm sorry. If you just want to get, this sucks, this is so weird, go to YouTube. There's plenty of videos for that.
It's almost like we're making our own rules here, and we're just doing what we fucking want to, because this is, like, actually fun.
Because we are like Snake Plissken. We're kindred spirits.
That's right.
We do our own thing.
We leave no detail behind.
Exactly. So they got Snake pinned up against. Remember, he still has a fucking crossbow arrow in his thigh.
And Duke is so happy to just walk up and twist that bolt.
Well, first he's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And his eye starts twitching. Isaac Hayes added that. He's like, "I want that to be." Anytime he's dealing with Snake, his eye starts twitching.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fucking
because he's so pissed off. Because he, as you can see, he's a guy who always keeps his cool.
Yeah, and prison's been cool. Even though there's literally a race of people called crazies,
right?
The prison environment is kept cool.
Thanks to the Duke. He's keeping control. Why?
One fascist
why?
deserves
Because
another.
it's two alphas. Like this guy could take over. So
right.
He senses that.
Think about this commentary though. In the real world, quote unquote real world, where civilization's happening, they have a fascist president. Over in the prison, fascist leader.
Right. But the people on the outside don't see it. They could totally see that Duke is, even though Duke probably has health care for everybody, which we don't have it in the fucking.
Well, no.
That
would be a nice thing. And in fact, it's like 90% of Americans agree that we need that, and yet they're like, let's vote for the guy who's not going to do it for us.
More social commentary, people.
Woo, boy.
So he's like, who are you? Snake's not saying shit. He's like, he's Snake Plissken, Duke. Snake Plissken. And then that's when he starts twisting the fucking arrow. Like,
okay.
I thought you were dead.
Excuse me? Do we... I'm sorry.
Snake still no-sells it. He doesn't do anything. We just cut to the next fucking scene. All right, Hulk, he's like, people are like, fuck, we haven't heard from Plissken in hours. We got a chopper. They notice because they have an infrared thing, and they notice... there's nobody out on the streets.
Yes.
Something's going down in New York.
It's a fucking Thursday night, and you know what that means? They're going down to the bar from cruising, and they're having a bandana party.
Ramrod?
Yeah, the Ramrod.
That was the nice thing. Ramrod still stayed the same.
It had everybody.
That shop that sold the bandanas next door still was open.
If you ever wanted to know what happened to Pacino's character in that movie, he still lives in Manhattan. He's actually in the prison world. He's very much like Cabby.
Secretary of State's like...
And yes, he is gay.
Secretary of State is like, we got to send fucking troopers in, man.
Yeah.
And like, Hulk's like, no. Snake's going to fucking do it. I trust this fucking guy.
He's still got so much fucking time.
12 hours, 27 minutes, and 40 seconds to be exact, Griff.
Thank you.
So now it's morning. It's daylight time.
Right.
Snake wakes up. He's totally been stripped of everything. Even his shirt he's been stripped of.
Again, like we talked about, we barely saw equipment on him, so really all it looks like is that he had a shirt taken off. And the shirt, by the way, classic Jean-Claude and Kickboxer. Like the Kickboxer design was stolen from this.
Yeah.
Instead of having the suspender straps that held it up, he's got zipper straps at his collarbone to hold it on.
Futuristic, dude.
I love it.
And we see why he's called Snake. Got the cobra tattooed on his stomach that goes right down to his dick.
I'm sorry, Murray.
And I liked it because he's literally and figuratively been stripped of everything.
Yes.
And all the guys have weapons around him, and they're still scared of his ass when he wakes up. They're like, oh! And we see that some of the guys have commandeered some of his gear. This Asian dude he's doing his own Snake Plissken thing where he has one of his glasses is blacked out.
Yes, you're right.
And
again, these movies so rich with fucking weird little details.
And he's got the fucking tracer, the snake tracer on his arm, the little eagle bracelet.
I kept thinking it was a belt buckle, but yeah, it's just that little tracer with the secret button under the secret button.
So, we're like, okay, now we know where Snake is. He's got his legs been tied off, taken care of.
And this is where we're going to see obviously some shit's going to be happening. We got to get down to what are we going to do with everybody? We're going to follow Brain and Maggie as they meet up with the Duke. And he's just hanging out. He's got he stripped out the back seat of a cargo van or whatever, and he's got it laid out, and he's sitting there taking pot shots.
Because he's got Snake's gun.
Yep.
I don't know why he'd be wasting bullets doing this, but
well, Murray, I mean, if you want to talk about Snake's bullets and his gun, they are imaginary.
So this is, you see how he's shooting it. He's sitting in a chair. He has his leg out. His foot is like a tripod for the fucking gun.
Yeah.
We got the president tied up against the wall. He's just shooting aimlessly at the president.
Right.
Freaking the president out, as you would be if someone's shooting at you.
This is so iconic of a scene that Childish Gambino, or whatever that guy's name is, Donnie Glover, I think. Donald Glover is the guy's name. When he did his This Is America, he did a little nod to this.
This is an iconic movie.
It's an iconic
That's why
movie.
we're doing it for our big birthday episode.
Right.
What did I teach you? Hey, number one, the Duke of New York. Hey, number one.
And the Duke is still taking pot shots at him. And I don't remember if he talks to Brain first before he gets the shot on the briefcase.
Now the Duke is on to Brain. He knows Brain's a weak. He's like, Brain, I want that diagram. I'll get it for you, Duke. Because he still needs that fucking map.
Right. He wants to be able to traverse the 69th Street Bridge.
And he's like, you can't kill Snake, Duke. And he's like, get me that fucking diagram. And then just walk.
That's as much as he's willing to negotiate in this situation.
And then he does another shot, and he hits that briefcase, and it opens up.
And that's where we see fucking Romero do another slink move.
This is another fucking amazing scene.
Yes.
Because he sees that cassette tape, picks it up, puts it to his ear like he can listen to the cassette.
Like it's a fucking conch shell. I love it.
And then just puts it in his pocket.
Again, I just... When I think about these scenes, if they were done modern, I feel like there would be 5 different angles for this shot to make sure you realize what he's doing, instead of just the one shot in 3 seconds you have of doing this thing. This is what makes people talk, not forcing us to talk about it, but adding these little details that just pass over you almost subliminally.
Day rolls on. They decide they're going to... The chopper... I think what this was supposed to be was... Because every week or something they drop food for the prisoners. So this was like a drop off.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the guys was the guy that's in the helicopter in the back was John Carpenter. He's in the role. So, but they see these guys are waving at them, hey. So they go down, stop, and they see that there's the briefcase. And fuck, we got the briefcase. We don't need the president anymore.
Right.
So they grab the briefcase, bring it back, and then I think that's it for now.
We
go back to Snake. He's they pick him up. They're heading out somewhere.
Right, and Brain is just thinking about it. He's with Maggie in his main office here. He's got his maps of New York laid out, and he's like, "How the fuck did Snake get in here undetected? Could have been a helicopter. Couldn't have been a tank. Couldn't have been some kind of aquatic boat, crawling up machine. He would have had to land on a tall building."
Oh, he's like, no, there's no runways. There's too many trees in Central Park. It would have to be on a building.
The tallest of buildings.
The World Trade Center. That's where King Kong went.
Yeah. And I have a feeling that we'll have a much easier time taking off than he had landing. And boy, would I agree with that.
All right, now we're back. Now we're back to Hawk's headquarters. The briefcase is brought in, and no, the tape's not in there, but there are some demands. It's a ransom letter for the president. We demand amnesty for everybody in New York, and we will meet you at the 69th Street Bridge. We'll hand over the president.
That's right. Everybody under the bridge coming over to a real America.
And then we see those infrared goggles we never saw Snake use or even carry. And they're like, fuck, they got Snake. He's dead. All right, we're going to have to send in the fucking cavalry now.
Yeah.
Send them in.
There is the one guy, I don't remember his name. He was the naysayer.
He's the Secretary of State.
He was the SOS. Okay. Because he's the guy always being like, nope, your guy's dead. Let's just nuke it. It's all over. And Hawk's always the guy who's just like, no, Snake's my man.
Speaking of Snake, we cut back. We see that he has less than 2 hours, about an hour 53 minutes.
Okay, exactly.
Because okay, so we see the guys grab like Snake, you're up, and we just hear in the background the smashing and shit, and people cheering.
Again, another amazing shot. All the details didn't make it to a note, but the fucking scene imprinted in our brains because he's lifted off a fucking pool table.
And I want to put it up to Kurt Russell. Sells the leg for the rest of the movie.
Yes, he does. 1,000%. And he remembers the right leg, too.
Right.
He gets the correct leg.
It is the right leg.
It is the right leg. The whole movie. And so he's lifted off this fucking pool table, ushered down a long hallway where he sees a guy being, the old tourniquet or whatever. Not tourniquet.
Stretcher.
Stretcher. Thank you. Just lifted off, covered in blood profusely. Right. It's John Moxley.
And we're just hearing people cheering and noises of someone getting hit.
And you got the swinging doors. So it's like as the doors swing open, you hear the cheers. Then you hear the cheers silence as the door closes and swings open. You hear the cheers again. And then we finally see what we're looking at. And again, another dilapidated, beautiful fucking...
This was like St. Louis's train station.
Right.
Similar to ours that just got refurbished by GM.
I'm curious to see what they actually did with it. And you know why they refurbished it? There was too many people fucking under it.
Oh,
they were getting really frustrated with all the people fucking under it.
That's not a bridge, though. You can are train stations and bridges the same thing?
The best fucking happens under a bridge, but people still do fucking dilapidated buildings. But we know what kind of people have fucking dilapidated buildings. We see them in all the Cannon movies. What's her name? Diana Troyer? She got fucked in a dilapidated building in one of the Cannon movies. Yeah. So it's not good.
Okay. Snake's brought in. There's a boxing ring, and with an audience, and we see the Duke. Oh, Duke's not there yet, but there's like a balcony that can look down. And he's thrown in this boxing ring. Snake knows no idea what's going on. He looks down. He sees that Asian guy with his fucking tracer thing, who's doing the bell, the timekeeper of the fight.
They try to fucking edge up this ring, so it's like hanging off the ropes they put up.
It looks
fence.
like it looks like tennis nets almost.
You thought it was tennis nets?
Well, no, they weren't tennis nets, but it looked like that because they were like nets.
I thought it was just like chain link fence that they.
No,
put
it was
there.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't chain link
because it seemed stiff.
It was rubbery. No,
it was rubber. Okay.
Yeah. And then we see Snake's like, well, I guess I got to fight somebody. And then we see his opponent.
Oh, my God.
Slag was his character's name.
I think this is our last guy.
What do you think he was in there for?
This is where I went with the public indecency.
Sorry, Griff. Insider trading.
God damn it. Of course we flipped on that one. Oh, man.
Slag, played by professional wrestler Ox Baker.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with Ox Baker, terrifying looking man.
Oh, yeah.
Giant. He's probably like 6'6" if he's an inch, about 350 pounds.
Yeah.
Joe told us 260's ultimate male. What, 350? I don't know. Bald head, gigantic Fu Manchu mustache.
Dutch Mantel, eat your heart out.
Exactly. Crazy eyebrows, pointed eyebrows, hairy-ass body.
Perfect man for pro wrestling in the fucking old days when you're in the nosebleeds. You can see this man's facial expressions because of how expressive those eyebrows are.
Famous for killing 2 guys in the ring.
No shit.
Here's the truth behind it. What happened was his finisher was called the heart punch, which you punch someone in the heart, obviously.
Okay.
What happened was, and this is because he was a heel, obviously. There's no way this guy could be a babyface.
Right.
2 guys he wrestled had heart attacks just coincidentally. It had nothing to do with the match, but it happened right after the match.
Gotcha.
So that built up his rep as a guy like, I killed 2 people.
I love that in the old world of wrestling, 30 to 40, 50 years ago, they were just like, let's work with this on the angle.
Right. And I'm sure the guys who died would want him to use it too. They're like, that's amazing.
Right. And nowadays, if people do one thing by accident, they're the first people to go out there. Even if it makes them look badass on TV, they're the ones to go out there and go, actually, that was an accident. I didn't mean to do that. They don't want to work the angle at all. Everybody's embarrassed that they're in wrestling now.
He was involved in a huge riot, and he was wrestling Ernie the Cat Lad, who was a black wrestler.
Yep.
They were in a black, predominantly black audience, and fucking Ox Baker was pummeling the shit out of getting heat. And even Ernie, because they could sense that the fucking audience was getting heated. And Ernie Ladd's even like, dude, no more. Like, come on, one more punch. And a riot broke out because of this shit.
You wonder why we are so fascinated by old wrestling times. Like, we just had the passing of Ole Anderson, and that motherfucker got stabbed almost in his heart by an offended fan.
Somebody cut him from his shoulder to his belly, like a diagonal cross.
Yeah.
Like 70-some stitches. Almost killed him.
Like,
because they believed so much what he was doing.
These guys would just sell their hearts out all night and day. They would take their character.
You had to, because if people thought it was fake, you'd lose your living.
Yeah. Ivan Koloff? No, not Ivan. Nikita. Yeah. Nikita kept up his fake Russian accent everywhere he went.
Nikita Koloff was a guy from Minnesota who played a Russian bad guy in the 80s, changed his name legally to Nikita Koloff, and among the boys would talk with a Russian accent. Even they were like, dude, it's us. All right, chill the fuck out. That's how committed he was to keeping kayfabe.
And wrestlers nowadays, everybody
it's entertainment now. It's not wrestling. It's sports entertainment.
It's just we don't need that. We don't need people getting stabbed. Just stop being embarrassed by your profession.
One last thing about Ox Baker. About 30 years ago,
I thought you were going to talk about his muffler.
No muffler. At a comic convention. This is 30 years ago. So this is back when comic conventions were about comics. So the idea of having celebrities was not really a big thing. It was comic book people. I was there. Ox Baker he wasn't even listed to be on the show. He was just there. The guy was fucking huge in real life, Grev.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where I was like, holy shit, it's the guy from, I didn't even know his name. I was like, that's the guy from, I didn't know he was a wrestler. I was like, that's the guy from fucking, he was so terrifying looking. I was too intimidated to go up to him get a fuck, because he was gigantic, dude. I can imagine how big Andre was.
Yeah.
Because this guy's not even big as Andre.
Right.
But yeah, it was, and from what I heard, sweetheart of a guy in real life.
Probably.
Like he wasn't but he just looked terrifying. All right. So
I love it. You had your last child moment before you became a man. Because nowadays, I think you would just be like,
yeah, totally not.
What the fuck, man? That's amazing. Yeah.
But okay, so now it's like, holy shit, and he walks in, and then the Duke arrives.
We get, okay, he does his announcement. He tells the
crowd. He's just like, because he's like, they're ready to move with the president. He's like, that there's Snake Plissken. He's going to come with us tomorrow on the 79th Street Bridge from the neck up. And everyone's like, yeah, on the hood of my car.
That's right. And so we're getting squared up in the ring. We're getting ready to fight. Snake's looking down.
No. Slag has his fucking wristband
so
with
the
thing.
Down,
so he notices he has it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know what time he has left.
Well, we see it as the audience.
Yeah.
Because we know he has just under 2 hours here. And he's being handed a club.
A baseball bat.
No. Yeah. Was it a baseball bat?
Yeah, they were baseball bats.
Okay. With no nails in it.
No. That's round one is just baseball bats. Yeah. So this wasn't that great. Apparently, according to John Carpenter, Ox Baker was laying it in because he's probably keeping kayfabe. So there was a point where Kurt Russell's like, dude, chill the fuck out.
I bet.
So they're just like, they're doing, it was like when we're kids and
guys,
we're sword
you get literally 3 seconds of them sword fighting with baseball bats and we cut away. And you know what? Good. These guys aren't trained to fight with baseball bats. You can't get a fucking stand-in for Ox Baker. So this is the best thing to do with it. Keep the movie moving along, and we know that John Carpenter. We know that Snake can handle himself because he's our fucking hero.
Right. So we now know that Brain, he's like, hey man, if I rescue the president and escape, I'll get amnesty. So he doesn't even think about Snake anymore. He's thinking about him and Maggie getting the fuck out of there. So he goes, because I'm assuming they're keeping the president in this building that they're in. So they go up to the door, knock on it. Romero answers, and he's wearing Cabby's hat.
Right. Hey, that's a nice hat you got there. Well, how did you get Cabby to part with that? Don't mind me, though. I just need to get to the president. No big deal.
Well, he's like, I traded it for Cab.
Yeah.
He says I traded it for something. He doesn't say what.
Yeah.
And Brain's acting, because Romero's getting suspicious because Brain is getting asking too many questions.
Yeah, Brain, what are you even doing here? You're not supposed to be here.
Well, the Duke wants me to check him out. He's like, I don't think so. Oh, I guess if the president dies, we can just blame it on you. Whoa.
What are you talking about? Cyanide capsule much? Have you ever heard of it? Do you subscribe to the New York Times?
Duke don't want a dead prez.
That's fake news.
I got to check him out. So he's like, all right, let him in. So there's 3 guys in Romero just chilling. We see, this was Donald Pleasance's idea, by the way.
Oh.
Donald.
The wig?
The president's wearing a long blonde wig because they're just fucking with the president.
Which eventually inspired the movie Idiocracy.
A little fun fact, not so fun for Donald Pleasance. When he served in World War II, can you imagine any celebrity serving in any war now? There were a ton of celebrities, and they saw combat.
Yeah, I know. People were just making the joke about, because all the Zillennials are coming through and learning with all the Elvis movies coming out now, that Elvis, being a superstar, went to the fucking war. I don't know.
No, he didn't fight in the war.
Okay, but
he had to serve. Yeah,
he served. He at least did that much, which is way more than anybody should do.
Yeah.
And they were just like, the thing about the fucking one of the hugest rock stars being like, yeah, I'm going to leave tour for a while to do this.
I bet they did that on purpose, though, because they thought Elvis was subversive, so they were going to put him in his place.
You know what? Now that I'm saying it out loud, that I'm learning you never went to the front lines, I'm thinking that's what it was. But
they wanted to kill his heat. Like, maybe if he went away for a while, the kids would forget about him. I bet that's what it was.
You think it was a psyop in the other way.
Because that's how crazy the world was. Elvis just wiggling his hips was so subversive and so scary.
Yeah. See, even in my age group, when I heard that about Elvis, I was like, I got John Claude wiggling his hips all night in my dreams. Yeah. That's all I see is his dangling dick in my dreams. So don't even talk to me about. Don't even talk to me about Elvis wagging his hips.
Getting back to Donald Pleasance. He served, and he was a prisoner of war in a Japanese internment, a POW camp.
Shogun style.
No, way worse. Shogun they actually treated the guy good.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about the
Japanese.
The Japanese. Yeah, so they look up what the Japanese, and just ask a old Chinese or Korean person about the Japanese and how fucked up they were in World War II. We don't talk about it, but they were fucked up. So I'm sure Donald Pleasance saw some fucked up shit, probably got tortured.
Yeah.
So, but John Carpenter didn't know this, so he didn't know, maybe I was tapping into some PSD,
Oh, okay.
But, so,
they walk in.
But Donald Pleasance, British person, stiff upper lip. You don't fucking sell it.
He's killing
it. He's a pro.
Yeah.
So he's checking, and then Romero's like, no, you're full of shit, Duke.
Amazing.
Brain.
Yeah, amazing shot here, by the way, because you see Romero really working out in his brain. In the background, we have Donald Pleasance in the foreground, and his beautiful fucking, he's got the bangs and the long side, he's looking great. You got Brain trying to get him out of his bonds or something, trying to get the
he's just
cyanide.
feeling around his clothes.
Yeah. And then Romero in the background slinking forward, and Brain just noticing. And then we even get a shot over to Maggie, who's Maggie's facials in this movie.
She's watching the 3 other guys.
Yeah, Maggie's facials in this movie are so fucking good.
And then as soon as Romero walks up on Brain, stabs him in the gut, and then he does an amazing death scene.
Of course he does.
Even though that wouldn't really kill you instantly, getting stabbed in the stomach.
And then Murray gets his 3 or 4 favorite sounds of the movie. Pow! Pew! A gun that just can't decide what his voice is.
Yeah, the Maggie takes out the 3 guards, and they're like, Mr. President, we're here to take. He's like, get me the fuck out of here! Throws that wig off. He's just jealous because he hasn't had hair in so long.
Yeah, that's true. That's the PTSD flashback, right? He had hair then, and then they put something on him. And
that was what got Donald Pleasant.
He can't grow hair anymore because of that.
Yeah, he's like, the piece of POW can't piece of cake. That hair, ooh, I had beautiful hair.
I had beautiful hair.
And John can actually relate because he's balding too.
He had fucking He-Man hair.
Round 2, and I love this is a great shot. You see Snake's is tired as shit, just leaning up against the corner. They yank the fucking bat out of his hand. He's
right.
Like, and then we just see he gets handed a garbage can lid.
Right.
And then a bat full of like these 9-inch nails goes punk, and the look that Kurt Russell gives, he's like, fuck.
This is why you give us a babyface who shows his weakness. Because he's exhausted. He's been going fucking toe-to-toe with fucking Ox Baker for however long their rounds are. We don't even know how long their rounds are.
Right. So they're going back and forth, like they're hitting their fucking shields.
Yeah.
Snake's shield gets knocked away.
It's got nails, so of course it gets ripped away.
Slag just throws his shield away, and they start going back and forth, and their bats get locked because they got the nails.
Yeah.
So Slag just flings fucking Snake away. Then he does the rookie move. He just puts his head above his hands with a bat. Snake hits him in the gut with that fucking spike thing.
Yep.
Swings around, hits him in the back of the fucking head with it.
This is how good fight scenes happen. Not super or... You know what? Do it in some movies, but in other movies, when you have a Snake Plissken, this fucking happens so quickly. And you're just like, holy shit. His bat is now in the back of this guy's head.
Right, and he's just laying against the ropes. Everyone immediately turns. That was awesome. This is awesome. Fight forever. They're loving it. They're all about Snake.
Yeah, it's do Snake, do Snake, do.
All Snake is thinking about, because he grabs the fucking bracelet off a Slag that has the timer. He's like, holy shit, I have fucking an hour and a half. Grabs the fucking Asian ringing the bell guy, undoes the clasp, hits the button, sets off the tracer, letting Hulk know that he's fucking alive still.
That's right. All right, so he checks his watch because he's, I don't remember if he got his watch back or he just checked the
While that's going on, a guy, well, we forgot to mention, as Brain's leaving the president, a guard happens to notice them. It's like, what the fuck's going on? So he runs to the Duke.
Yeah.
And whispers in Duke's ear. We just see the Duke take off while everyone's cheering Snake.
Sure.
And then a guy, listen! Brain's got the president! And everyone just fucking takes off.
They all know that's their ticket out because, again, our fascist leader has told them, if we return the president, we'll all get freedom.
Just as... then we cut back to the Liberty Island.
Yep.
And Hulk's ready to get into a chopper, and Remy comes up to him and goes, hey, we got a blip on that fucking tracer. So they go back in. Secretary of State's still like, no, we got to go in. It's like, no, the guy's alive. He's got the president.
Anybody could have hit that button. Only Snake knew that it was hidden under the button. And then the button had the button under the button.
So Snake gets all his no, here's the thing. And I got an answer for it. But you notice he pushes the button, but he does not take the bracelet back.
No, he does not.
Yet, Hulk is saying they're headed toward the World Trade Center. This is how you get around that, Griff. Because we don't know what time they're seeing this. Because we learn, spoiler alert, I'm sure everyone's seen this movie, obviously. The Duke goes to the World Trade Center too. We don't know that Asian guy's not with the Duke.
That's right.
He still could have the bracelet on. But
that's true.
That's the loophole we get out of.
There is that one detail. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But anyways, we know that Brain and Maggie are trying to get away with the president, and they do the brainiest thing possible. They head to the roof.
Right.
And Snake.
And this is where we see fucking Indians. They're fucking. I mean, they were like they had moccasins and fucking feathers in their hair and shit. There's a tribe of Indians living in there, and even fucking.
Are we actually on the World Trade Center?
Yes, we're on the roof of the road because that's where the glider is.
Yeah.
And they're just.
Oh yeah.
They don't give a fuck. They're just chopping at the fucking anchor.
Right. And I love this fight because again, all of our fights happen over like a minute. You don't get a lot of time to spend.
That's how a real fight takes.
Yeah, it's exactly. It looks fucking good. You pass over it. You have to look at the details twice if you're interested enough to. Because you'll enjoy it the first time. You'll enjoy it more the second time. We see that Maggie's got the gun. She doesn't need to reload it. She doesn't need that.
Because she's the muscle.
Yeah. And she's shooting everything. Brain is taking his shoes off and chucking them, finding rocks and throwing them.
He says, "Goddamn Redskins!" Of course, they changed it to the Commanders now that he screams. But, in 81, it was the Redskins.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is an offensive name, and we should have changed the Commanders to the Commies.
There's a better name than Commanders, but I don't have a problem changing the Redskins.
Yeah.
It is, even I would say that's an offensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Snake comes out. He grabs the gun from Maggie. He starts shooting. The fucking glider just falls off the side.
They finish chopping off the anchor. It falls over. It's just like, oh, fuck, man.
So they go back into the World Trade Center.
They get away from all the fucking crazies and the Indians and all those kinds of folks. And they find the president, and he's asking him, where the fuck's the tape? And Brain pipes in, oh, I know exactly where the tape is.
Well, because he knows Snake's going to kill him. He has no idea where the fuck.
Again, Snake is done with him. He's dead weight. So he's like, I got to get the president. Wait, does he need the president or need the tape?
No, he just needs the tape.
He just needs the tape.
He needs the president.
But he doesn't know where the tape is, and so that's where Brain's usefulness comes back in.
Snake's probably covering his ass. Like, they might want the president, too.
Yeah, because they do bring the president along, so that's why I brought it up.
But so Brain, talking out of his ass, he has no idea where this fucking tape is.
He does.
I know. You don't kill me, you'll never find out.
I can bring you right to it.
And he's like, fuck.
He's a worm. He knows how to survive.
So they have to, I imagine how fucked up Snake is, and that he had to walk up 50 flights of steps with a fucked up leg, and now he has to walk down 50 flights. So they get down, and there's fucking Brain's car. He's got a steam-powered car. Because this is, I don't think you picked up on this, but
I did not.
What happens is they open up, because this car doesn't start, so they open the hood, and one of fucking Duke's goons is in there with a crossbow. And then we pan over. They took the engine out of the car.
That's okay. Yep. No, I did not.
So we see there's a steam engine shooting steam out in front of the Duke, and Duke's like, car trouble.
Yeah, Duke's standing over it, and I didn't get this, but I did notice that Snake, who's just standing there looking like a badass, but he's hiding one hand just very subtly behind his leg. And he's waiting for the Duke to be like, let me tell you what I think about you. And that's when he knows, I got a second here. I can take a shot.
Shoots the fucking steam engine, blows steam. This was kind of lame.
It's lame.
They're like blinded they're scared to go around this steam for like the 10 seconds that Snake needs.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
So they take off, and as luck would have it, Cabby just happens to be driving by.
Right.
So
playing one of his favorite tunes, which Murray, of course, has the whole soundtrack in his brain.
It's American Bandstand, the theme song for American. It literally is the theme song for American Bandstand.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked you.
Yeah.
You thought this was some kind of trick
going
question.
Bopping.
And a weaving
Written
and a
by Barry Manilow.
There we go.
John Carpenter said Dick Clark was nice enough to let him use American Bandstand.
Amazing.
So Snake gets behind the wheel, and they just take off. And then he sees all the fucking Cabby's tapes, and he's like, where'd you get this? He's like, oh, Romero gave it to me. He knows I love fucking music.
Yeah.
And they put it in, and then we hear like nuclear fusion, Oppenheimer.
Should I pipe in the King Gizzard song, Nuclear Fusion?
Sure. Make it a little bit longer. Why don't we? So they got the fucking tape. They're headed to fucking the 69th Street Bridge. Because like Brain's like, I got the map. You gotta take me, Snake. He's like, all right, I don't get. He's like, this time he's like looking. He's got literally minutes.
I love this because they get to the bridge, and like we were kind of alluding to 9 days ago, it is narrow as fuck. There's dilapidated cars everywhere. There is one route. There is no other route.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, you built this up. Like it's like we're gonna have to slowly work through, weave.
Well, he doesn't have the time for that, Snake.
And even using a car wouldn't make sense here if you have to weave through mines.
Exactly.
So,
well, first of all, if I was walking, I would just hang on the edge and just walk across the edge.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It
doesn't really matter because they still have guards there that would shoot you.
Yeah,
so this is just like so you wouldn't have a caravan of cars or something.
Exactly.
It's just because it's a cool ending. That's why they do it.
I like it. I still like this scene. And so we're just driving through, and Brain is just, Snake, no, left. And we can see to his right, or, whatever, there is a car in front of him. There's no other option because he's driving a fucking car through this. And so there comes a point where he's like, no, Snake, you need to go this way. And he does actually hit a mine.
Right. And it cleanly cuts the car in half.
Just in half, yeah.
But did you see that fucking Amazon driver video?
No.
It happened a couple of years ago, but there was an Amazon driver, for some reason, was not paying attention and drove across railroad tracks while a train was coming, and it did this. It literally ripped the back half of his truck off in half. Like, he was fine.
It didn't turn the front around? Or?
No. What it did rattle him.
Yeah.
But literally cut it in half. Everything from his seat behind him was ripped off the truck.
Amazing.
And he's like calm as fuck. He's just kind of like almost irritated, the driver. He's just like,
dude, I'll tell you, when I almost got fucking hit by a semi, you go into a state where you're just like, your brain doesn't know how to function anymore, because that's what happened to me.
So it's ripped, and then the crazy thing is, if anyone would die, it would be the people in the back seat. But the president and Maggie and Brain are fine. Cabby gets killed somehow.
Just like,
so they must have ridden with his side of the car. Must have hit the.
Yeah, it must have been.
And once again, popcorn fart of an explosion. It was literally like poof.
It was
with
rough.
An awful sound effect.
It was rough.
So all right, Cabby's down. It's just them, and then we see the fucking Duke with this. But this made no sense because where are the rest of Duke's guys?
Yeah, I know. He just left them all behind. He's so fucking gung-ho on this situation.
Well, you know why he's pissed? Because they show a shot of him, eyes twitching. He does
eyes
that
twitching.
quick. He's
fucking,
right.
I
want to kill these motherfuckers.
So he's barreling down behind them. He's following the same path, which is the only path. And now he's got one less mine in front of him. So the guys are like, we got to fucking move on.
Right.
You still got Brain with his map. No, guys, left, right.
Left, right, A, B, down.
Dude,
he did the Konami fucking code.
Well, Murray, I'm surprised you're trying to evade that. You're trying to elude this here, but he was actually describing how to beat Battletoads level 4. Yeah. Snake.
No, level 3. This was within the pods.
Oh, you want the pod one? Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got to drive around.
You
got to evade.
You got to.
And of course, they go the opposite way. No, this way. And he goes the way he said he's supposed to go. Steps on a mine. Goes flying.
And this is where we get one of the fucking cooler scenes in the movie. Again, solidifying Adrienne Barbeau, who is a B character in this movie, yes, but she's a fucking. We've had multiple badass women now.
Well, we solidify that she had real feelings for this guy because this is probably the first time in her life. Because I'm assuming the true story of her is she's probably a prostitute or something.
Probably
in this movie.
Yeah.
So this is the first man who's ever treated her good.
Right.
So she does love this guy.
Yes.
And she's like, I don't care about escaping. I got to get revenge.
Right. And you know what? We don't even use a whole lot of fucking words to get through this. She says, Snake, give me your gun.
Maggie, we got to run. And she just puts her hand. I don't think she even says anything.
No,
she put her hand
she does
out?
not put her hand. She does not say anything. She just puts her hand out. And Snake gives her that look because what is she doing, Murray? Not leaving a man behind.
Right.
That's it. We don't need a speech. It's powerful enough on its own. Just saying, it's so good.
So he hands her the gun. He's like, game recognizes game.
Yeah, he gives her a knowing nod because what did he say? What did he say his problem with Harold was? He left a man behind.
Right.
Bob Fresno, of course.
Fresno Bob.
Fresno Bob. I think that's one of Kramer's friends.
So they start running, and then we see the Duke coming, and she just starts firing off at him. She's like in shock.
I got very Mad Max scene here.
And she just gets run over.
That's right.
And then The shot
Comanche Crunch. I put that in the notes.
Malachi Crunch, but
Malachi Crunch. I always get that wrong.
Well, no, actually, technically, the Malachi Crunch is when two cars.
I know, but I wanted to make the happy day. We never did that one. We were talking for a while about doing the two-parter.
I don't know. I don't think people really cared about the happy days episode.
I don't think people care about a lot of shit we do.
Yeah. Well, Tippy Taps definitely. You know, only the true fans.
Only true fans well, never mind. So let's not go down that dark alley. Dark corridor.
Yeah, so there's a shot where we see her under the car. This was done in post because originally they didn't have any shot, and then Carpenter's like, "No, we got to make sure like everyone knows she's dead." So they did this in John Carpenter's garage. This shot of her just laying. I think they just got like Caro syrup, like poured it on her, and then so that was that. All right, so now we're getting to the fucking wall. It's just Snake and the president.
That's right. So Duke is also on foot here. He's running after. We got Snake with the president, and they have reached the wall.
But the Duke's got that fucking machine gun still, so he's got the edge.
Snake
has nothing.
Right. And so we get to the wall. There is a fucking harness because all the LISP of this sector, because it's Sector 19 is what I believe I saw there, they have lowered a cable. Barbed wire has been cut so that
there's just a pile of debris like at the bottom of the wall.
Yeah, exactly, because people were probably piling it up to try to climb over the wall. Right. So it makes sense why this area is so heavily guarded.
So Snake knows they're going to want the president first. So he puts the president in the little like grappling thing. They pull the president off.
Yep, they got a pulley system. So because Donald Pleasance, amazing actor, not physical at all.
No.
Yeah.
Then it comes down again, and Snake's about to get on it, and then fucking Duke shoots at him.
He managed to shoot Snake off, but he also managed to shoot a couple guards up ahead.
Yeah, he kills the guards to the right.
Yeah.
Snake dives off the fucking pile.
Because we see they were working the pulley, so now the pulley's not going to work. So Snake would have to fucking manually climb up there. Right. That's the point.
So they start fucking. Snake like gets behind the Duke. They start wrestling and fighting.
Duke was still running up from pretty far away, so Snake has time to hide behind a car. Duke runs past him. Snake jumps over him. They're tussling. He knocks him down. Doesn't throw the gun away. Just runs for the fucking.
Well, he's probably looking at that clock. And he's like, "Fuck." You know?
I got to get the fuck out of here.
So he grabs the fucking thing, gets up halfway, and then a hand just stops it. What a douche fucking move.
Yeah.
Because why? Because then we see the Duke. He gets up with the gun. We're like, holy shit, he's going to kill Snake. What the fuck? And then he gets riddled with bullets.
And we're like, who the fuck shot him?
You're the Duke of New York. Hey, number one. You're the Duke. Hey, number one.
Or could you say, you're the Dookie?
No, I would never say that.
I know you would, and
sorry. Then he lets. The president had his dramatic moment.
Of course he did.
You know, so they bring him up. Then we get a nice little shot where we see. This is old. This no CGI, people. We see the stunt man of Snake Plissken. He's like 10 feet, drops down because there's a car in front of it. Kurt Russell pops up behind the fucking car, real sleight of hand.
Yeah, cool.
And then he's running up. Cronenberg's there with the X-rays, and then he's about to get it. And then Hawk just, where's the tape, Plissken? Pulls out the tape, hands it to him. He's like, all right, give him the X-rays. Do it. We get the dramatic scene. We got to have that red readout.
Yup.
2, 1. Boop. Now, according to the, we're going along with it. It makes no sense, this whole fucking thing. Yeah. But then again, if they did a sequel, they probably would explain that it was all a hoax to begin with and he never had anything inside. If they did a sequel, which they did not do, even though we did do an episode on this imaginary sequel.
So we're cutting to Donald Pleasance.
Now he's back in power.
Yeah.
He's the president again.
He's been returned to the real world, and so now Snake Plissken, soldiers for America? Fuck you guys. And so he's getting dressed up, he's getting shaven, he's got all of his guard,
because they explained that the Chinese and Russia, they heard about what was happening and they stayed in Hartford.
Oh,
so they're gonna do a TV thing.
Oh yeah, they're gonna allow him.
It's gonna save the world.
He's gonna Skype in.
Right.
He's not gonna tube it.
No.
He's not gonna jerk off, guys. We're talking about that whole bit.
And so they got to make him look good. He's the president. They're shaving him. They're doing makeup on his shiner he's got.
That's right. And we see Snake approaching him. And guards, no, you can't. This is the president of the United... I just saved this motherfucker.
No, he doesn't even say that. The
I
president.
know he doesn't. I'm just adding this in here.
President.
Everybody knows I'm just contextual narration.
The president's like, no, it's cool. Because they're like bros. He thinks they're bros now or some shit.
Well, yeah, they're soldiers. They're both
And
soldiers.
he's like, yeah, they've been through shit. He's like, I want to thank you. Is there anything I can do
just
for
name
you?
it. Please, name it.
I just want a moment of your time. You know, a lot of people died getting you out there. How do you feel about that? Well, I'm super grateful as he's staring at a mirror, like making sure he looks good. I'm grateful. Yeah, it was,
the nation.
Brian and Mookie and the guy with the cab. Yeah.
The nation really, make sure to get that one too. And yeah, right there. The nation really appreciates their sacrifice.
And then originally, Carpenter wanted Snake to flick the cigarette at him.
Yeah.
But he was like, no.
I think it's better he didn't.
Yeah. He just throws it away in disgust
Yeah.
and then limps off. And as he's walking, we see Hawk standing there. It's like, goddamn, Snake, that was fucking amazing. I think you and I are the perfect team. We
Snake,
could just...
No, Murray, the way he interrupts him is even better. Because Snake is not even looking at him. He's walking across on the other side of the street, very much like your obnoxious neighbor who decided to tell you, well, get the fuck off my street. He is walking so far away from Hawk, and Hawk just shouts out, hey, Snake, you gonna kill me?
I'm too tired. Maybe later.
I got another job for you. Pretty good. Solid health benefits.
Make a hell of a team, Snake. The name's Pliskin.
The fucking live audience went nuts for that.
Right.
I mean, it's a beautiful line,
Right.
but still.
And you could end it right there, but no, here's our little coda. We see the president. He's all cleaned up now. He's ready to give the speech that's going to save mankind.
That's right.
And then he's like, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. Puts in, we're going to save the world with this tape, Griff.
That's right.
Da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. And he's looking like a total turd. He's like, what? And then we see Snake got the real tapes, pulling it out, even though they could fix this. But it's too cool an ending not to just think about that.
Yeah.
But he just tears it.
As
hurls
that
it over.
fucking theme song.
Boom,
Do-do-do.
boom, boom,
Do-do-do. Ah!
boom.
How?
And that's why you don't need a reboot. It's the perfect film right there.
Exactly. Why can we not We've talked about many flaws in this movie, and it's still a fucking amazing movie.
Yep.
Dare, people. Dare. That's it.
It's almost as like it's your guy's birthday because of this great present we just gave you.
Yeah, for real. You just got to listen to us. Just me and Murray, of course. You're used to hearing some other schlub on our show. No, just us whispering in your ear for 3 hours.
Speaking of schlubs, Griff, by the way, happy birthday, Griff.
Oh, Murray, of course. Happy birthday.
You're welcome, audience. Speaking of schlubs, we took a break from guests because, we love our guests, but
every once in a while,
we love our listeners too, and we know these go. And this is what we're at. We're 2.5.
No, this is 3 hours.
3 hours. Sorry about
3
that.
hours, yeah,
but
sorry.
hey, this is my podcast, my birthday, and I'll ramble if I want.
I'll do what
to.
I could do what I want to. Yeah.
This is a guy. He's a favorite of some people. I was shocked when you brought up he hadn't been on our show in over a year.
Yeah.
I bumped into him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, we got to get you back on, dude. And he's like, yeah, I need to get back on because people loved his episode. It was a big episode for us.
Even when he was on the last time, he was a new papa, and it's hard.
Yeah.
The dad life is hard. We get that. But he's someone who we used to see on the regular, and it's a hard thing to not see people you used to see all the time.
Right. Yeah. He's only been on a couple episodes, so he's not like he's not Mike, but he is a friend of ours. He'll be in studio, so expect a lot of barking from Millie.
Oh my God!
We're warning you of that.
Yeah.
It's our buddy Sean Pigeon, who was last on for Iron Eagle, which shocked me. It was a big movie of his childhood. This was his escape from New York.
Yeah.
He has another movie from his childhood that Griff and I have never seen. We've been doing such the past 2 weeks apocalyptic hellscapes.
Yes.
So this is a little palate cleanser.
It is.
This is it looks fun. I watched the trailer. Very 80s, very coming of age, and it fits in with our buddy Sean Pigeon's wheelhouse because he's obsessed with bicycle riding.
40, 50. I mean, he's been living in Redford, biking out to Ann Arbor, which by car is a 25-minute drive. So this man loves his bicycle.
So this is a movie. I'm sure he'll have a whole story behind it. What he saw, what he was wearing, what he was eating when he saw this movie. I've never seen it. It's a BMX movie called Rad.
Yes, and I remember this being one of his favorite movies from a conversation we had years ago.
Yeah,
and it was just we'll get you on.
Yeah, we figure it's something. It's gonna be in his wheelhouse. It's a nice.
I like what you did there.
I didn't even know that. That's how great we are. I didn't even wear that. And it's just a nice come down. It
is. Before we bring you guys right back to the dystopian hellscape, me and Murray thrive in.
So enjoy that. We're going to enjoy our birthday. And as always, keep it warm.